What a time to be live.
We're back. It's Friday, 14th of August. It's Friday. We've got that Friday feeling. We are not playing Rebecca Black this time, unfortunately. It is 2026, 12 on the dot, and boy, do we have a show today. As you can see, the table has started filling up. In fact, Luke, let me just move this over here.
Yeah, can I get my bobblehead here?
Yeah, you take your bobblehead, Luke, and I'll put mine.
Let's do that.
There.
Nice.
Looks a bit better. Luke, Friday, how are we feeling?
Yeah, good. Not working from home today.
Good stuff.
So London maxing.
London maxing, we love it. We've got that Friday feeling. Yeah, Luke's been excited to jump on this morning. We've got a load of news to dive into. Before I do the news, it's probably best if I pull up the Airwallex agenda and we can just go through who we've got on the lineup today.
Let's do it.
We've got Carmen Lee, founder and CEO at Silicon Data. They are fresh off the bat of a very hot raise. Obviously, we had Steve on the other day breaking down everything that is Silicon Data. This one's going to be interesting, very timely as well. They just raised the Series A at $30.5 million, which is led by Valor Altreides AI Fund with CME Group, DRW, Samsung, and Venec coming in. Total funding now at $32.5 million as of August. We've got Neil Chudleigh, founder of Superwhisper. This one's going to be one of the more interesting ones we've had on. It's an enterprise use. It's essentially an on-device local AI, voice-to-text type setup they've got going on. Neil's going to be tuning in at 1:45 to join us live in the arena. And then we've got Ben. He's back. He's coming back. Ben, founder and CEO at BEP Holdings. Ben actually called the other day on the show. He mentioned that well, he was basically discussing that the next frontier is the intersection of biology and AI. And literally the following day, we had a founder come on and announce their the first ever human data center specifically around mapping out, essentially like pouring resources of compute into how do we cure diseases and accelerate that cycle timeline. Yeah, human data center. We have got David Sandstrom, CMO at Klarna, coming in. Our first guest from Klarna, actually. This is going to be a brilliant conversation. A load of stuff to dig into with them. They've got a few cool announcements to make on the show. But without further ado, let's just get back into it. Bring the Airwallex agenda down. If we could maybe get some support for that. I'm not sure why it wasn't working.
Airwallex agenda's down. We're back.
Look at our heads popping up.
What a time to be live.
Isn't that cute? We've got our little bobbleheads popping up.
See
very quickly
lovely
on
locks.
These. We will just have to give a quick shout out to
Velocity.
Velocity gave us out. It's really bobbling away. This is my one, which I'm a huge fan of. If you can get yours and just put it up. There is Luke's. Yours is a little bit more smiley than mine, which is weird.
I am more smiley than you.
Velocity just don't think I'm a happy guy. Mine is taller than yours, though. So
it is. Well, yeah, that's it's pretty rough actually, because if you were to meet us in real life, whether we exist or not, you never know. You only see us on a screen. But to the people lucky enough to meet us in person, you will find out that Luke is actually taller than Ronan.
Probably say unlucky enough.
Crazy. Breaking news. Luke is taller than Ronan. Anyway, you'll see them just there looking lovely. We've had them basically since launch.
We've had them for a while, yeah. We've had them for a while. We've got a lovely champagne collection, which is growing, which is great news.
It's Friday. We thought, let's get the champagne out. We've had two already, as you can see. You can see one of them just absolutely popped off.
Sabered off. We can show you guys the saber, actually.
Let's grab the saber. This was given to us by our friends over at Wineify. At first, we thought it was a knife because everyone really carries a knife in London, apparently. But no, it turns out to be something a little bit nicer, which is a saber. Shout out to Wineify, friends over there. We've only sabered one bottle of champagne so far, but we have 3 to go, and they will be getting sabered. Yeah. It's your turn next time as well.
What, to saber?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not now.
I wonder if it's legal to have this on the show. I wonder if content guidelines.
Definitely not.
Would block that.
Yeah, probably.
I'll stream down.
That's it. Monetized down. Anyway, we have a very good show. We should first touch on a video that got released about Elon Musk. He basically retweeted this. And it was pretty self-centered, to be honest. But we thought it was absolutely hilarious. So we're going to go and play the video, and we made one of our own.
I can
let's
pull
put it
up. This hit the timeline.
It hit the timeline because Elon Musk retweeted it. But we thought, wow, video models are getting pretty good. Even the facial expressions. He looks smaller, obviously.
He does look smaller.
He's got some wham shoulders going on as well. So this came after the fact.
I didn't even notice the humanoid robots.
This came after the fact of Elon wanting to buy the UK. Hence why the how much. This is everyone in the UK chasing him away from the UK. We don't want you to buy our country, please, Elon. It's
quite
mine
funny
now.
that he's just thrown this up.
He's got a mullet going on there. I love that. I wish Elon. Oh yes.
I'd be fine to see more of those in London. To be fair.
Autonomous baby.
That is excellent.
Should we pull the one we made up?
We do
Max
have a
made
parody
this up.
video. Obviously, the intern.
But just to say, this is like a one shot. This is Super Grok has basically just pulled this from one prompt.
What was the prompt? Because I've not actually seen the full mock-up that Max the intern has prepared.
Bunch of
for us.
photos. Hey, go and make a video of this. Let's just play it and just see what happens. Ronan, the man who brought European technology. You look different.
I'm Ronan, the man who bought European technology.
You're also
and I'm
American.
Here to change the world. Join me on this incredible journey. The future is now.
That's not you. That's you.
I do move like that. That's got my dance moves.
Tech Nova. I've never seen you smile like that. We don't have humanoids like that. A Ferrari looks pretty good. That's smooth. This is Oxford Street, I think. That's freakishly looking exactly like you.
Honestly,
Yeah, baby.
super.
You're
You're
London
now in a
swings
very,
with
very
ETN
small
tech.
Ferrari.
Catch you
You're in
later,
a
groovy
kid's
cats.
Ferrari. And your head's falling out of the windscreen. What is that, like a Ferrari Endo or something? I don't know.
That's brilliant. Great work from Max the intern.
Max the intern's doing good work. You know, always doing good work.
Yeah.
Shout out to Max. And,
Doing the hard yards.
Indeed.
We love to see
And
it.
shout out to Airwallex. Levi did his business bang
Airwallex.
behind with Airwallex, the all-in-one financial platform built for the pace of modern business. Multi-currency accounts, corporate cards, expense management, online payments, all-in-one platform. Get it at airwallex.com. Legend over there. Should we pull some news up?
Well, let's. I think we got to go. This is going to be one of the more interesting things that I think has ever hit the timeline.
Okay.
This news broke.
Things I like to see.
This is the thing. To be fair, this is the thing of the day. We're gonna spend some time on this. Just we want to break it fully down. But this there were two main pieces that came out. One from the WSJ, and then I think it was the information that initially broke the news. But it was essentially, as a TLDR, it was a deep dive into Dario's wife, essentially, and her role at Anthropic. There is nothing online about this individual, so I'm not sure how the information in the WSJ managed to sort of surface all this information. There must have been an incredibly deep investigative report, but it comes literally the day after all of the sort of IPO remarks were made in terms of valuations of the company. Is $2 trillion an understatement? A bunch of the opinions online on the timeline were basically saying $2 trillion is incredibly conservative. They have massively undervalued the lab just based off the revenue projections. I can't help but feel that maybe there's some upended strategy involved in like those release dates. Those coming straight after, like the day after they dropped.
Yeah.
These pieces come out, but we can.
It's weird. It feels like they're kind of pulling this only to like only when it's needed. This is like pull it out of a hat type thing. It just seems very kind of like perfect timing, basically.
Yeah, maybe they've been sat on it for a while and they've just not decided to. I don't know, drop it, because it does seem it's incredibly timely. It's interesting that it is literally the day after all the discourse comes around like pre-IPO timelines, revenue projections, like what are the numbers really looking like. Dario sort of courting investors to relieve concerns around the IPO, given the threats from like Chinese open source. So yeah, there must have been some sort of strategy in there. Before we jump into the strategy, let me tell you about our friends over there at Polymarket. It's the world's largest prediction market. Stay informed and profit from your knowledge. Go to polymarket.com to get a hold of all that good stuff they're doing over there. Let's have a look at the article. I'm going to bring this up, and we can start to dive in. So as I said, there were two main pieces. WSJ covered it first. I think this was a higher. There was less depth here, more breadth. It kind of touches on areas of the story, but they titled it, "Even Claude is in the dark about Dario Amodi's wife and her influence at Anthropic."
Yeah, that's a nuts quote, and we'll get to that.
So Cami Clark, who started what she called a revolutionary porn company, apparently, where she sought investment from Epstein, keeps a low profile, but is a key advisor to the AI chief. Its coming IPO could raise trillions, is the way that they introduced this. The article begins with when Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi invited AI leaders to a meeting in New Delhi earlier this year, security protocols allowed each executive to bring one additional person with them. Most brought colleagues, but Anthropic CEO brought his wife, Cami Clark. Clark doesn't work at Anthropic, but she's often seen sitting in the front row while Modi talks at events such as Davos, or can be found chatting up investors at gatherings such as the Allen & Co. conference in Sun Valley. Personally, straight off the back, do not think that is a problem. Why would you bring your wife as your plus one to the events? Why is that?
I think if everyone else is bringing their colleagues, she's kind of seen as an advisor to him. But bring your colleagues.
I don't think that's.
You bring your wife.
You go to an event, bring your wife, bring your plus one. Your wife gets involved with you.
It's not really an event; it's more of a conference, isn't it?
True. Yeah, true.
Basically, everyone else is bringing their colleagues, and him bringing his wife maybe seems a bit out of it. But then again, she's kind of seen as his kind of second opinion type thing. Helping him out in terms of like how he deals with situations and a bunch of other things.
I feel like that's not news, though. I feel like everyone's partner would be a sparring partner for advice on life and challenges.
And they say that most of the time when he is at these talking gigs and speaking gigs, she is normally in the front row. So
I just don't see a problem with that.
Anyway, that's not the problem.
No, not at all. There are other things within that. She acts as a sounding board and strategic advisor to Amodei. According to people close to the company, she also brought Anthropic a key early investor, former Google CEO Eric Schmidt, whom she had dated in the past. Wow. As it was getting off the ground in early 2021, some of the people mentioned. Despite her influence, there are scant details about Clark online. The efforts have been made to remove references to her, according to a Wall Street Journal analysis and a person familiar with the matter said. The pair had married in 2022, but Amodei's Wikipedia page didn't say he was married until this summer, and still doesn't say to whom. Searches for Dario's wife on Google often turn up a paragraph of his sister, who also helps run Anthropic. And even Claude responds to queries by saying Dario's marital status doesn't seem to be clearly confirmed.
I see.
Can't
That's
understand
so crazy.
Why would they do that? Why?
Well, I mean, based on the allegations, it sounds like there's a reason, I guess, why, and he doesn't necessarily want to always be associated online, I guess. I don't know.
How does that conversation go, though? Hey, by the way, I'm going to scrub you from my LLM.
From my whole, even like the Google, like if you type in and you Google Dario Amodei's wife, it comes up with his sister.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like, here's people linked to that man. It's not like, here's his wife and it's his sister. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you're typing in Dario Amodei's wife, you're going to get his wife. You can type in anyone's, hey, Justin Bieber's wife.
No, but I think it's like the next best result is what's being surfaced.
Well, yeah, but that's because, that's what I'm saying, like, all of it's being scraped.
Yeah. No, I'm agreeing. So as Anthropic hurtles towards an IPO that could top $2 trillion as soon as this fell, Clark is one of the most influential voices shaping the decisions of a CEO at the forefront of the AI industry, a revolution making all aspects of work and life simultaneously thrills and terrifies most of the public. It's a remarkable rise for a woman who didn't graduate from college, had a previous brief marriage at age 20, to a man more than 40 years old, and once declared bankruptcy. Her career has included co-founding a woman-focused luxury porn site that she unsuccessfully tried to persuade convicted Jeffrey Epstein to invest in, and starting a woman's social dieting app that morphed into a woman's healthcare AI company. So the background's not what you would expect for a senior advisor of an AI lab at a company like this, right? So that's super fair. She'd made connections, and this is an interesting part. Like they talk about I saw someone share this on the timeline of, when Madison came on and was like, there are a bunch of these Silicon Valley chats that everyone wants to be in. They're kind of like, it's a status signal to be in some of these chats. These are the chats that kind of rule the world in a way. She mentioned that when she came on the show.
Yeah.
Like there's like a bunch of like powerful, if you work at labs, like they'll have like maybe specific chats for like researchers at labs, or, and then that rung would go up on the executive level to like who is in these chats, how can I get into these chats, like very, very powerful WhatsApp group chats. There's a part in this where they mention it's like the Real Housewives of AI, which is an amazing name, by the way. But like another example of like the types of, and apparently like she is in that chat as well.
She's like queen of that chat.
Yeah, I'd assume she'd be top dog in that chat.
She'd be spitting facts.
Yeah,
left, right, centre. Which is all about access, right? And it sounds like she has a very, very good network. The articles you were about to say, right? Like she's made connections with powerful people, including Schmidt, whom she brought into Amadei's orbit, billionaires. The billionaire left his roles at Google and parent company Alphabet in 2020 and transitioned into investing in startups, among other things. She also tried to persuade Schmidt to back a venture fund she would run with him to invest in Anthropic and other AI companies, although that didn't move forward. Then again, she's making these deals kind of happen. But carry on.
And then some more points about his early career. Amadei was still an academic when they met, working as a postdoctoral scholar at Stanford University School of Medicine, having earned his PhD in computational neuroscience from Princeton. He would go on to stints at Baidu and before joining OpenAI in 2016. Amadei quickly climbed the ranks, helping lead key research into scaling laws, the notion that intelligence increases proportionally with the increasing computing power and data used to train it. As Amadei ascended within OpenAI, Clark joined him at company events. People who worked with him and knew the couple said she'd made sure his ideas were given credit she felt that they deserved. So, kind of standard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wife joined you at work events. Like, pretty normal, I think.
She's an advisor there, then fine.
Yeah, I don't think anything too crazy with that. She introduced Mira Marathi, one of her closest friends, to OpenAI. Okay, the network is nuts. One of her closest friends to OpenAI co-founder Greg Brockman. Clark worked with Marathi at Leap Motion, a company that made virtual reality hand tracking devices. Previously, Marathi joined in 2018 as the VP of Applied AI and Partnerships, and then later became the company's CTO. We obviously now know that she is over at Thinking Machines. I'm not actually sure what's going on with Thinking Machines. We haven't had a temperature check from those guys in a while.
Product happening.
Because they released something. Yeah. They released
like a product is in.
Well, they released what was it called? Had a really cute name, down with an L.
Can't remember.
And it was impressive as hell. It had really good sort of spatial awareness where you could talk to it and it would recognize you very quickly. It would know. It could kind of read people in the room based off the depth that they were speaking towards it.
2 primary offerings: Tinker, cloud-based API developer platform for fine-tuning open source models, and Inkling, a multimodal 975 billion parameter open weight AI model. I remember that.
Yeah. Their demo video was really cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And you could it could kind of perceive depth as well from individuals in the room in a way where
multimodal design built to natively process audio, video, and text input. And it was released on Hugging Face for public download.
That's really cool.
Yeah, but it's they are working. They have a product and they're working on iteration. They're not like an SSI type thing where it's more of a research thing that has no product yet.
And everyone's also left. So
correct.
Godspeed to them. Clark also introduced Amadei to Schmidt, who became taken with the young scientist Amadei in 2018. Schmidt had visited Amadei and Clark's apartment in San Francisco and was impressed with their ideas, according to Bloomberg. Tensions between Amadei and OpenAI co-founders Sam Altman and Brockman over who wielded power at the startup. Amadei, his sister, and 5 other employees left to found Anthropic in December 2020. Anthropic in May 2021 announced it had raised $124 million for its Series A, a round of fundraising led by Skype engineer Jan Tillen and including Facebook co-founder Dustin Moskowitz, Jane Street founder James McClave, and the Center of Emerging Risk Research, as well as Schmidt. I wonder, when did SBF get in? I thought SBF was maybe earlier than the A. But I'm interested as to why they wouldn't include him on the previous funding.
Yeah.
In that,
I'm trying to see if there's anything in the article, but no.
In Anthropic, 'cause it might have been earlier than the Series A. He'd got in 500 million in 2021. He had led the B round. Sorry.
Oh no way! He led it.
500 million through Almeida Research.
Yeah.
500 million in 2021 during the company's early funding phase, leading its Series B round to
Damn, I didn't know he led it.
8% stake.
That's cool.
And then we can also find out what is that were.
Oh my god!
Because this is nuts.
Insane amounts. Well, we have there's an article in today's episode about the Anthropic IPO and the payout and everything and how philanthropy is kind of going to be more of a thing now. The amount of money actually flooding into philanthropy is actually going to far exceed what these organizations can actually take on. That's how much money is going to be flooding in as a result of OpenAI and Anthropic IPOing, regardless of how big they are. Obviously, there's a lot of chat right now whether they will, Anthropic particularly will kind of supersede the price of SpaceX at 1.77 trillion. 2 trillion is kind of around the mark, but yeah, still floating around. Then again, I see things like this, every day. I think every day this week we have mentioned Dario's name in a not very positive light because of what's happening in trad media. But you can still see Anthropic's revenues just absolutely climbing,
shrugging it off.
Just ripping. I mean, they're still expected to hit 100 to 120 billion dollars in revenue from $47 billion at the beginning of the year, which is insane.
Shrugging it off.
And they're cooking. They are still cooking.
So his stake was 500 million for 8% around Series B, which he led through Almeida Research, based on Anthropic's post-money valuation of 380 billion, which is much greater than that. Same stake would be around 30 billion. So back when they were 380, this would be around 30 billion. So I don't even know what that is today, right? If that was 2 trillion, I can't do public maths on the thing, but 200 and slightly under 200 billion.
Something like that, yeah.
Absolutely insane. And he gets none of it, unfortunately, because he went to prison, which is unfortunate. I rate he's certainly pushing
not unfortunate.
Not unfortunate at all.
Unfortunate
he deserves to go to prison.
He
committed mass fraud and literally collapsed FTX. Said many times how insane that was, watching that unfold live over
and destroyed the philanthropic economy as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the narrative of philanthropy.
But that's around their Series A. And then goes on to mention that Clark, who wasn't yet married to Amadei, wanted equity in the new company as well, according to documents reviewed by the Journal. February 2021, Clark had pitched Smith on creating a new venture fund called the Mother of AGI Fund. Its goal to be an elegant solution to formalize Cami's involvement in Anthropic.
What a name.
That's a great name, Mother of AGI Fund.
Although, do you trust the person that owns that? I don't know.
Just imagine the merch, though. The merch would be super, super sick for that, I imagine. And that was taken from basically the goal was to be an elegant solution to formalize Cami's involvement in Anthropic and manage Eric's investment and invest in the AGI ecosystem, according to a 40-page proposal. Others at Anthropic, including Amadei and other co-founders, didn't support the plan. They were like, hey, this doesn't work for me. But by the end of the year, associates said they recall seeing what looked like an engagement ring on Clark's hand, and not long afterward, the couple were wed in Italy. What a place to go.
Let's go.
You notice that none of the
Italian summer.
They don't get married in America. They always come to Europe.
They do.
They always come to Europe to put the ring on the finger.
Maps.
They want to make sure they're getting the weddings, and that's fine. That's probably a good, make the money in the US, put the ring on the finger.
What's who was it? Prof G always says, best place to make your money is the US. Best place to spend it is Europe.
There we go. And you can just Euro max
spend away
money. Anthropic drew the ire of Trump administration earlier this year after Amadei refused to drop restrictions on how Claude could be used by the Pentagon. We saw that unfold with the whole Sam versus Dario saga. Sam puts out public statements saying, we support Dario's decision here, holding ground against the Department of War. And then 8 hours later, they had announced that they had done the
deal
exact deal that was offered with the Department of War.
Mad
that was
times.
around the time when the pendulum swung all the way to Anthropic.
That was the singular time that this whole narrative switched.
Yeah.
Whole narrative.
Because
I think that was like the nail in the coffin.
They had the revenue, like the revenues were climbing at that point anyway as well. So like they had.
Yeah, they hadn't yet surpassed like OpenAI. That I remember that was being like the kind of the main anchor for OpenAI was that their revenues and their usage base was still higher, quite considerably. And then Anthropic is just like there's another graph actually that we can show at some point. Just like absolutely obliterates it.
Yeah, that was a wild time. I remember being just stunned at that when that came out.
Indeed.
The government had labelled Anthropic as a supply chain risk, and then the Pentagon partners were effectively barred from using its technology in their work. We saw the response from the team, basically just outing Dario. I think everyone was calling Dario like woke, like Peter Hegseth, who was just running the Department of War. Had taken to Twitter, and it was like all capital letters, like Dario is woke, like. Do not side with the woke LLM, and just like launch this like insane rant against them. The administration added those restrictions on additional AI models from Anthropic in June that were later dropped. The standoff brought unwelcome attention to the company ahead of its IPO. It says unwelcome attention, but to be honest, I think they won the majority of the narrative anyway.
I think it just didn't do a very good job of the administration, but did a good job on the everyone was like
side.
Fair play for standing. For standing for what you kind of believe.
Yeah, I forget that they also said anyone that works with Anthropic, will like cut ties with you, and I think
they did a full mass kind of wipeout of
which is
trying to work with Anthropic. No, it's actually kind of nuts that they were able to kind of move past that like so smoothly. I mean, they're still in legal battles with the Department of War, or the Department of Defense, but. It's kind of being brushed under the rug. I mean, this IPO news is obviously like the big thing, and everyone's kind of pulling like the FT article that we read yesterday about all of these things that are making investors wary, are just clearly not doing anything to the price and the performance generally of Anthropic and how much it's growing. But it is part of the conversation that he's having all these everything that's going on with Chinese open weight models, everything that's going on with like the Department of War and Defense, everything that's going on with like Grok and other kind of frontier models kind of getting close to where they are, but still ripping.
Yeah, insane. And it basically just goes on to mention, like the woke thing is funny because it's here in the article. Like Clark has recently told people involved in politics that the company sees its mission as protecting America and isn't as woke as its detractors might think it is. So they're trying to fight the woke claims. I don't think they have that problem anymore, to be quite frank.
No,
I think they're kind of past that. But at the Sun Valley conference in July, she spent much of a week by her husband's side, lunch with Ivanka Trump, a friend, and chatted with Jared Kushner, whom Amadei had approached earlier in the year to invest. And there's a bunch of other stuff. I'm kind of realizing it's not too tech related, so we don't really have to go into that. Mainly just looking at the politics around what are the relationships behind closed doors, who are the people that they're bringing in. But it does sound a little bit like... not that I'm surprised by this, but there is a lot of sort of like behind closed door handshakes, obviously going through this whole thing. It's like with the narratives that we're getting fed, I'm realizing as time goes on, must be like a lot more strategic than even. We already knew that they were strategic, obviously, but they must be well more strategic than.
They'll feed what you want to hear.
Yeah, basically. Like how do we? Yeah, what do we need? What do we need happening? And then let's make.
It's fine. Creates discourse. Discourse is good.
Yeah.
Discourse is free speech. Free speech is good.
But if you do want to go check out the rest of the story, you can find it on WSJ. There's also another information piece that you can check out as well. There are other elements of that, but again, we are a technology network, so we will not be covering anything that isn't related to the technology specifically. Anyway.
Should we move on?
We can move on.
Let's move on to Framer.
Let's
build
move
websites
on to
faster.
Framer.
Do you want a platform where enterprise teams design, build, and ship production-ready websites? No dev handoff, no bottlenecks, no creative compromises. Go to framer.com/ETN. They are legends. Let's talk about Mistral's plan.
Mistral.
This
they're
was
back.
a
Let's
wicked.
go.
They
Let's
are back,
go, guys.
but in a different way. They're kind of not pivoting, but they're changing the plan. They are moving away from this kind of like model race into the infrastructure and distribution side. There's a bunch to unpack. This is a huge article, and we are going to try and summarize it for you in ETN style. Anyway, let's kick off. Mistral AI wants to build a 1 gigawatt of European compute by 2030 and lock in customers now. That's the key bit. That's the very, very key bit. Let me just start everyone off, and then we can go deeper. Mistral AI wants to turn European AI sovereignty from a talking point into a product. Let's go. One with a service level agreement attached. The French artificial intelligence company announced Tuesday a 3-part expansion of its infrastructure business, regional inference endpoints that let customers choose whether their AI workloads run in Europe or the United States. A new priority tier backed by an uptime guarantee for mission-critical deployments, and a coalition of European enterprises making multiple-year compute commitments that Mistral says will underwrite 200 megawatts of infrastructure across Europe by the end of 2027, and a full gigawatt by the end of 2030.
All GW.
In a move that may raise eyebrows among sovereignty purists, the company also said it will begin hosting third-party open models on its platform, starting with GLM 5.2, then Z.AI, the Chinese AI lab formerly known as Zippu.
Bunch of stuff.
Let me keep going. Just keep going because there's some more. Together, the announcement makes a decisive shift in how Mistral positions itself. The company that built its reputation training open-weight language models is now selling something closer to critical infrastructure, assured capacity, regional control, and contractual reliability for enterprises and governments that want frontier AI without surrendering control over where it runs. Lacroix, so Timothy Lacroix, who's co-founder and CTO of Mistral, said today the announcement is about strengthening one part of the infrastructure, which is the inference part. First takes, number one.
Okay, few things here to dig into. First one is, there's this particular quote in there that I am in love with. That comes from Timothy. He mentioned so 1 gigawatt of compute. And this is great work by VentureBeat, by the way. It's lovely to see this depth of coverage.
It took me 30 minutes to read.
For European frontier. So the point that I'm referring to, they're discussing the 1 gigawatt of compute, and obviously this is a magnitude ahead of typically what the discourse even allows in Europe, right?
Sure.
This is a shockingly large thing, and they break it down in the numbers where they mention Epoch AI calculates that a typical 1 gigawatt AI data center requires roughly 38 billion in upfront capital expenditure with servers and GPUs, and that's not even not the buildings or land. Consuming the majority of the cost would be the servers and the GPUs.
Yeah. Mistral has raised 4 billion, by the way.
Is that?
I'm pretty sure.
The amount they've raised. Because I don't know what the valuation is.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, mate, I'm on it.
Look at this guy.
I did read the article this morning. Mistral has raised roughly $4 billion to date.
What's the valuation? I have no idea.
A fraction of the war chest assembled by OpenAI and Anthropic. Bloomberg reported in June that the company is in talks to raise about 3 billion at a roughly 20 billion euro valuation, nearly to double its Series C mark. So 10. Raised 4 billion. Last raise was whatever, maybe 2 at 2 at 10.
As they're raising it 20 bill euros.
Euros.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So that's it. Raising at a valuation of 20 bill euros, but discussing projects that require $38 billion in upfront payment.
So, yeah.
I love it.
Ballsy.
I
We
love the
it.
ballsiness. I love the ballsiness. And then, like, these guys are like, LaCroix did not dispute the scale of the challenge, the investment required for a gigawatt of capacity. He
Block
says,
those haters.
it is
Block
a large
those haters,
investment that requires also a lot of scaling and revenue behind it, he said.
It does.
So it's not like,
It does.
you know, when he's getting pressed about, hey, man, like, this is, you know, your company's worth 20 bill euros.
I mean, you know what he's done? He's seen what Elon's just done. And now brought in a model that wasn't even in the conversation and is now frontier. He's saying, right, we've lost that war, you know, frontier models, who cares? We have that, whatever. Infrastructure is where we're going to win. Distribution is where we're going to win. And we're going to go and do it by financing it with long-term contracts. We can borrow off those long-term contracts. We can get more money in and go and do what we need to go and do to win that side. But yeah, you're right. VB said the numbers deserve scrutiny because they imply staggering capital requirements. Mistral currently operates less than 200 megawatts of capacity, according to the company. Details shared with VentureBeat show the near-term build-out resting on 3 sites. 44 megawatt facility near Paris that became operational in the second quarter of this year, 23 megawatt facility in Sweden, built in partnership with Eco Data Center, good name, using renewable energy and advanced cooling, and a 10 megawatt site in Le Houilly in France that came online in the third quarter. So getting from there to 1 gigawatt by 2030 is like, again, order of magnitude higher. Saying that, I believe Elon's like new project just hit 1 gigawatt in a year. So everyone's talking about, you know, looking at this, you know, 3-4 year gap. You know, you're still like light years away. But it's the distribution part. It's the kind of inference part that's the most interesting, and we'll get to that.
Yeah. I just have to say on this, I just want to spend some more time on.
Please. We'll keep going on this.
On the ballsiness of this, but he's activated,
God
and I mean
mode.
this in
Le chaton
the
fat
most
mode.
flattering way possible. Delusion mode.
Yeah.
Which is so necessary, and we need like 100x more of this in Europe. Like, think massive, think absurdly large. And then just speak it into existence. Yeah. And this is literally step one. Like, I 100% with like every fiber in my body believe that they will achieve this.
Agree.
And probably before target as well, like before 2030.
I hope so.
With every fiber in my body, I believe this because he doesn't care. He's just thinking of the end goal. This is what needs to be done. So we're just going to go and do it. And I think that is, unfortunately, has been a relatively rare train of thought or like internal belief system for people in Europe. I think that's changing. Yeah. And like the people that we've had on the show that are from Europe are an example of how that is changing. You know, look at Matty, look at Anton. But like for the first time in my life, it's like complete narrative violation for Mistral in that one line. You know, he's getting pummeled as like, oh, have you not thought about this? And like, oh, but you know, you've not thought about that, and that's going to be tough. And like, yeah, it's going to be hard. Who cares?
Life's hard.
Just go do it. Yeah, life's hard. Cry me a river. You know, build me a data center.
Build me a data center.
Cry me a data center.
Yeah. Okay. So all good to be delusional, but it is worth saying how you're going to do this, right? And this is very clever. The way that they're going to go and do it is actually super, super clever. They're basically going to do like these. They're called European Compute Units. Basically, 5-year contracts with a bunch of companies.
Don't love the name. Don't love the name.
No, you can't be doom about this.
I'm not being doing that. I love it, but I just don't like the name.
Good vibes. Ronan says change the name. But anyway, let's keep going. VB says, and I'll explain a little bit more about this, but it says, Mistral is assembling what it calls an anchor group of enterprises whose long-term commitments will collectively finance infrastructure none of them could justify alone. Those commitments convert into European Compute Units, or ECUs,
Tell you what, this is making
a claim of Mistral-built capacity over multiple years that participants can spend on inference, training model adaptation, or other AI workloads as their needs evolve. So essentially, Mistral has concluded they can't win the model race. That's absolutely fine. We've lost your camera. There we go. You're back. Mistral's concluded that they can't win the model race. So essentially, they're just changing they're changing the vibes of the business completely in the direction of what it's in now. They have framed the supply crunch that we're in at the moment as like their opportunity to kind of get in. European short on compute never really was in that kind of like hyperscale era.
Doesn't matter.
So they're selling the symptom of European weakness as like the product, which I think is super clever, right?
Genius.
We kind of painted the picture. Mistral is running on like 200 megawatts or less than versus like,
Doesn't
I think
matter.
the US is like 41 gigawatts.
Doesn't matter.
Which is insane. XAI's Colossus 2 hit 1 gigawatt in 12 months. Mistral is targeting the same 1 gigawatt by 2030.
Easy.
Scale, that's the scale. Anyway,
We'll hit it earlier.
ECUs is the key, is the answer.
Is that
ECU,
European
demand
compute
aggregation
unit?
versus hyperscale. So ECU is like demand aggregation versus like hyperscaler balance sheets. They're not using the money on the balance sheets. What they're using is an aggregation of a bunch of contracts and then raising the money off the cash of those contracts.
Or the
So
demand.
Google, Microsoft, Amazon, they fund their data centers on their own balance sheets, on their cash flows. Mistral, they've raised 4 billion in total. Obviously, gigawatts costing 38 billion minimum. Let's go 45 billion because you're not thinking about land and everything else.
No, I think that does include the land.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go 38 billion. Still way out. But they get companies like ASML. They get Capgemini, CGM, CMA, all of those kind of companies to sign long-term 5-year
Big
contracts.
fat LOIs.
No no exit compute commitments, right? So you're signing this thing 5 years.
No break
This is the
clause.
cash. They then use the cash and borrow off that cash to generate more cash, essentially allowing them to I don't know how much, I'm going to say double their kind of what they can raise for this. And so the usage models now doing infrastructure and distribution. Distribution is kind of like the only thing that they can afford by using these ECUs. And they're kind of going off the sovereignty piece and the kind of European weakness piece, because say a European bank could never use Chinese APIs directly, right? Mm-hmm. But they're essentially wanting, and they also want independence from US hyperscalers. So they're becoming that kind of trusted intermediary between all of them, and using these contracts as a wedge in to raise enough money to get to the next step.
Yep.
Super clever. VB, great article. I learned a lot, and super exciting.
Yeah,
But you're right. As you're doing, it's it's
this whole
vibes.
thing.
It's all vibes.
It's needed. Mm-hmm. Be deluded. It's how it starts.
The reason I just went on that spiel was because, yes, be deluded for sure, but come up with quite an innovative way. I don't really know how much kind of an ECU or something similar has been used before, but because I know that an Amazon, a whatever, these companies aren't using these kind of forward contracts. They're using their own balance sheet because they're big enough.
Smart way of
going
financing.
you're not going to go and leverage. You're going to go and if you don't need to, you won't have to.
Sell out LOIs, sell the demand now.
Yeah,
Get an upfront payment, go and build that.
correct.
I love it.
Correct.
I love it. Innovative way to finance. This, and again, in the nicest way possible. It's deluded.
Yeah.
We
Also,
need
I
more
love
of
the
that.
fact so how we talk about the sovereignty piece and the fact that these German towns are ripping out Microsoft Teams to go and put in their excuse my
and
French, pretty shitty software.
Not allowed to swear on the show.
Has to be said.
That's
Mistral have
hold on. Profanity alert.
Mistral are using China's GLM 5.2, and there's a little bit of kind of a French national champion partnering with the French army,
I love
positioning as this European sovereignty, answer to American independence. No. We're hosting
Chuck
whoever
that
we
out the
feel like is
window,
worth.
buddy.
Hosting a Chinese labs model invites obvious question, obviously. Who cares? LaCroix is saying it's a great model. Everyone loves it. It's open weight. There was no good reason for us not to do it, really. He said, noting that Mistral's own stack is already built on open source software, like Kubernetes. So security vetting, yes, there's going to be a need, there's going to be kind of the need for that. He kind of mitigates those risks. He says the risk in taking a new model at the at the layer of the weight are, at least in my opinion, rather limited. LaCroix said, we checked basically all of the safety and compliance evals that we have. We'll control that model. It's the outputs and what it does the same way we do of any of our models. We have the same inputs and outputs and monitoring capabilities over all of it. My favorite bit is we control that model. Control that thing.
That's our thing. I love it. Chuck that
it's not our
sovereignty
thing,
out the
but
window.
we can make it our thing and control it. Love to see it.
They're getting in the conversation.
Yeah.
Let's get in the conversation.
So-
La Chaton Fat got him in the conversation. They hired a brilliant CMO, Brian Hall.
Let me just see who wrote this. Michael Nunes. You wrote this on the 11th, actually. This came out on the 11th.
Because Arthur shared it on X last night.
Amazing.
It has obviously, relatively big audience.
Yes. Arthur Nunes, please come on the show. And Michael Nunes, please come on the show. Arthur Mensch, please come on the show. And Timothée LaCroix as well. Please.
I did ping the Mistral team. Just a
heads up. Hey.
Kudos on that piece.
Yeah.
Just
They've made you wearing a flag in a very hot studio. So
I'm actually not that hot today,
good.
surprisingly.
Good.
I don't know if we've got-
But no, it was a great article. Go and read it. Takes a while. Maybe get Mistral's open weight model to summarize it. Although they're not doing models anymore. But go and summarize it if you don't have time. But read it. It's a very good article. Anyway, I feel like we should move on.
Well,
unless
it
you have
looks like
anything to
they're
say.
probably just going to move away from
Well, they're moving away from the models. They're going
and that's
infrastructure.
fine. And I think that's fine. I think there's no point in the nicest way possible. I just think. I'm not sure that, let's just be smart about where we can
But
compete.
look, there's still the US have 41 gigawatts of power of compute
Yeah, it's
power,
just
right?
not even worth.
We still have a supply crunch. So with our less than 200 megawatts, what's the point of even kind of
literally.
trying?
But if they can turn this into a big fat money machine, huge.
Yeah.
Huge for France, huge for Europe. Let's, stop churning this thing out. I think they do 300 mil ARR?
For sure.
Sorry, I should have been hitting that earlier.
For sure.
Nice.
For
I don't
sure.
have my
For
my
sure.
thing.
Luke smashed up his soundboard the other day in anger. He was so angry about the fact
What was I
that
angry
Mistral
about?
wasn't focusing on the gigawatts.
Get out of the model race.
But then
Get
obviously
out of the model race.
now, he's got egg on his face because literally days later, Mistral announced that they are. So
That's fine.
we do need to get a new stream deck for you, Luke.
New
We
stream
need to
deck coming.
control all of the.
But anyway, Base, the infrastructure for the
Base.
on-chain world. Base is built to empower builders, creators, and people everywhere to build apps, grow businesses, create what they love, and earn on-chain. Go to base.org. Yeah, helicopter flying in for the infrastructure, not the models.
Base,
That
the
is
on-chain
TLDR. This is a great plan. We are backing you, Mistral. Please go and do what you can do.
Time to make some money.
And we love the vibes. We love the
to make
vibes.
some
Please
money.
come on the show if you have time. Let's move on.
Tariq Shah, by the way, says GM Tariq Shah. GM, right back to you, sir. Thank you for GMing with us today.
Let's go. Let's talk about some news that came out of the Financial Times this morning.
Yeah,
Fortunes from AI revive effective altruism after Sam Bankman-Fried turmoil. SBF has made the title of this because of his effect on philanthropy. When all of that was going on back a few years ago, SBF was very, very well known for doing a bunch of philanthropic activity. And then because of the whole blow up, because of the fraudulent activities of SBF, it put a very bad name onto philanthropy. However,
I do want to say a few things just very quickly on that. I have,
Please go.
Someone, I can't remember, there was a book that was being written at the same time as his rise to, I don't know if we call
You've
it
told
fame.
me this story, yeah. Yeah.
And I forget the name of the book. If you can maybe try, see if you can find it.
SBF book.
Maybe. I can't remember the name of the book. Someone is writing this book about how amazing FTX is. This is incredible. This super genius child is
Going infinite, the rise and fall of new tycoon.
very cool.
Because it would be the rise of a new tycoon, but then they had to put the fall in there.
Yeah, because as the guy is writing it, all of this stuff comes out and the whole of the FTX collapses. And I remember and I've mentioned it on the show before,
Surely that just increased, That's just increased book sales by tons.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah.
For sure.
For sure. Massive for the guy writing the book. But what an amazing like turn of events to be writing a book about somebody's rise, and then as you are literally halfway through the book writing it, their fall is initiated as well.
Write that.
Well, he did. So that's literally what he did.
Good pun.
He did actually write that. But I need to get it. I actually haven't read that. But I'm trying to remember now if it was someone who had met SBF and was telling me this story, or they'd taken it from the book. And I know that's like a horrible distinction, but basically, I think it's someone that met him.
They
that we
met
know.
SBF.
So there was a story around like back when he had this crazy flat. It was more of a house.
No, it was a house. He had a house. It was next to someone else's, someone very, very well known.
Oh, I don't know who his
name is. And you had to take
but-
your shoes off and everything, and there was a bunch of... I remember there was a bit of content that came out about that, and I can't remember who it was. Someone went into the house. Did we have them on the show? I feel like I think we were in this conversation.
I think I've told you this story before.
Really?
I must have.
Okay, anyway, go.
But they're basically like chatting to SBF. They're in the kitchen of this place, and they're talking about.
I wasn't in this conversation.
They're talking about food.
Sure.
And they were like, what are we going to do for lunch? Like, should we? You're thinking that we'll probably go out for lunch, maybe. It was 2 individuals, and then on SBF side, it was SBF, and I think maybe 1 or 2 other people. And the whole time they're just talking to SBF, and he's just not replying to them. So that it gets to a point where they're just like, do we just not talk to him anymore? And his back's just to them, and he's like started cooking in the house, and he goes to serve them. They just like realize through that I guess we're not going to go out and get food. Like SBF is just going to make us food here,
right,
without telling them that he's making them food. So he just initiates like food making in the kitchen without giving anyone a heads up, and then comes to like just give them the plates of food, and it's just like a few pieces of broccoli and like some sort of like small disc of meat. I mean, like just like that's a very small anecdote from someone that I spoke to before, but it kind of gives an illusion as to his quirky side, let's say, how quirky this individual could be. But we can go into the article. It's essentially a preface of, obviously we had the FTX blow up.
But it's a preface. It's a preface of the OpenAI, Anthropic IPOs. Expected IPOs for Anthropic and IPO is set to mint new generation of philanthropists wedded to effective giving. Let's jump into the article. We can pull this up now because we're actually going to speak about it. The AI boom is creating a new generation of ultra-wealthy philanthropists who are reviving the effective altruism movement years after it was damaged by association with convicted fraudster Sam Bankman-Fried. The FT has identified more than 60 current and former Anthropic employees who have pledged on the Giving What We Can platform to donate at least 10% of their income, reflecting effective altruism's emphasis on using evidence and data to maximize the impact of philanthropy. Anthropic's 7 co-founders, who each have an estimated worth of about $8 billion, have separately pledged to give away 80% of their wealth, creating the prospect of billions of dollars in future donations. Some of the company's leaders, including executive Dario Amodei, are close to the EA movement, as are executives at other fast-growing Silicon Valley groups, such as OpenAI. Both companies have confidentially filed paperwork to launch initial public offerings as early as this year, seeking values of excess of $1 trillion, when more looking at round 2. Well, specifically for Anthropic, which is set to be around this autumn. Among the organizations benefiting from EA-aligned funding is the Shrimp Welfare Project. Now, I didn't know this was a thing, and I wanted to pull this out.
Incredibly
which
important
says
cause.
additional funding could help expand the use of electric stunning for wild-caught shrimp after raising £2.2 million in 2024 to 25, up from £1.47 million a year earlier. Let's go get the shrimp. Now, I wanted to just quickly pull this graph up, Sam, if we can pull my screen up. This is the state of OpenAI and Anthropic's IPOs. Potential could be reaching $2 trillion, meaning billions for philanthropy. We'll pull this up in a sec, but you can just see the insane rise of... I'm panning. If I can. This is not my screen. There we go. That's Ronan's screen.
Yeah.
Cool. So you can see how quickly. So yeah, at this point, Anthropic's co-founders pledged 80% of their wealth. As soon as it does that, it just absolutely rips. But you can see the change, or like the kind of step change of Anthropic around kind of mid 2026. And just the insane growth that they've experienced.
Well, let's go through this because I think there's some interesting openers to start off. The article itself, the title, Fortune from AI Revive Affect Altruism After SBF Turmoil. The AI boom is creating a new generation. What, of the full?
Yeah.
Sorry, the giving what we can.
Yeah. Yeah. Just read all that out, dude.
Apologies. Go back to where we are then.
I wanted to touch on EA. So if organizations align with EA, the immediate challenge is whether the expected influx of AI wealth will materialize, or if it does, how well they can actually deploy it. So essentially, there's so much money in the system right now, they don't even know if they can take the money, that these organizations just genuinely cannot take the amount of money that might be worth giving. So there's a quote in here from a guy called David Goldberg, who's one of the founders of Pledge. He said, "There's been talk that the amount of money that's going to come into this space is so significant, it will max out room for funding for a lot of organizations pretty quickly." And now just to give put all of this into perspective. So I did some numbers on Anthropic and how much per employee they're going to get. And so if Anthropic IPO'd at 2 trillion, which is kind of the kind of top line number we're potentially looking at. Might be lower. No, not conservative. Conservative is around, we're going to go conservative 1.25. But people are now saying it's going to be above the SpaceX IPO, 1.7. So we're going to go 2. The mean that an employee will get is between $40 to $70 million per employee. But there's a power law. So the median employee is probably going to look at about 5 to 15 million pre-tax. 500 people before 2024 are looking at $50 to $100 million in a payout. So headline number, 12% of the 2 trillion is about 240 billion. So the 12% is what's kind of left for the employees and what's part of the options. Across, so 240 billion across 4,000 employees. That's a mean of 60 million per head, which is insane. So for comparison, Google's 2004 IPO minted 1,000 millionaires from 2,300 staff. So the 4,000 employees that Anthropic have, all of them are going to be millionaires, easily. Yeah. But only just under half of the employees of Google's IPO became just millionaires, which is insane. So to run through the numbers again, right? Pre-2023, the first 250 people in Anthropic are looking at 100 to $1 billion plus window of a payout. If you joined in 2023 to 24, you're looking at $20 to $100 million.
Pretty good.
If you joined at 2025, you're looking at 10 to 40. And if you joined in 26, you're still looking at a $3 to $10 million payout, even if you joined in 2026.
For engineers?
Just general employee. Just standard, you're an employee of Anthropic. That's it.
That's insane.
Insane, right?
It's like an events manager.
Yeah, I think, because they have Anthropic stock that's part of their package, right? Yeah. And, the Google example, half of the employees were made millionaires, or less than, less. But for Anthropic, 100% of the 4,000, 100% of the double employee count of Google when they IPO'd are still going to be multi-millionaires, not just hitting the millionaire status.
So insane.
It is actually wild. And that's a true $2 trillion IPO. Who knows if that's going to happen? We have no idea. But there are reportings that it's going to be, it could very much surpass the SpaceX 1.7 trillion. So
That's so nuts. Yeah, I think
it's exciting.
I remember seeing on the timeline all the discourses like how, regardless of all the negative press that it could possibly get, the fact that they have, a bunch of different people pledging 80% of their potential earnings from this going into philanthropy, like it would be unprecedented to see such large flows of capital. Like basically institutional levels of capital flow into philanthropic projects.
Philanthropic,
which is actually absolutely nuts. I mean, look, another sort of rung on the, like, why people should be pro this. Like, why people should be pro wealth creation and pro wealth generation.
Well, yeah, I mean, when SpaceX IPO'd, pretty much almost everyone got made a millionaire. Engineers on the ground, obviously kind of like, the higher paid salaries for sure, but engineers like on the factory floor were being made millionaires. They'd be making, there was that article, I think, it wasn't the Wall Street Journal. I want to say it was a Forbes article. I think it was about the engineer who'd never made, so the money that he'd make from the SpaceX IPO was more money than like he'd ever made in his and his family's like lifetime or something. And he was just this like, I think he was from Mexico. He was just like a civil engineer type thing, kind of industrial engineer type role in SpaceX, and would make, I think around
kind of
the mill, maybe the two. Incredible.
And then what's
It's
even
really
more
exciting.
mad about all this is, like, in a similar perspective of, it can probably apply the same things to OpenAI, but they're not from the philanthropic point of view. From the point of view, like, they're going to make a load of money when it IPOs.
Yeah.
And they're seeing their senior executives leave.
Yes.
And they'd be on some huge equity packages as well.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Well, all 7 founders are set to make like $8 billion.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, how much would a rung down from that CRO, for example, leaving OpenAI?
Almost $1 billion.
Without a doubt.
It depends. It depends when you join the company. So like timing wise, when you joined, of course, you're gonna get a better package if you were to be the CRO.
You get a nice sweetener, you get a huge equity thing. But like,
then
the
again,
fact that
same
they're leaving,
CRO of OpenAI just left after about a year.
Yeah. And they brought, was that the one from Slack
Something like that.
that we'd covered? Denise. We covered it ages ago when she moved over, and that was a great hire at the time. It made a lot of sense, focusing on like an enterprise motion, trying to capture some of that market back from Anthropic. I think it was the CEO of Slack, Denise Dreiser, I think her name was. But she's only been in the runnings for a little while.
Indeed.
We have our first guest coming into the studio now. We've got Carmen over there at Silicon Data off the back of a fresh Series A. Carmen, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. How are you? Happy Friday.
Happy
I know, it's
Friday
exciting.
to you.
We have the
Very exciting
champagne
times.
bottles here as a Friday gift
Yes. Maybe we can-
for all our viewers.
There we go.
We keep getting
Nice.
gifts from VC firms, wanting to give us champagne bottles.
There's another one.
So
There we go. But more important,
getting more. Anyway, how are you?
you have...
Good. How are you? It's been quite a week for Silicon Data, but we're very excited.
We saw. Do you want to give us the news yourself? We saw the announcement.
Yeah, I mean, I think for the ecosystem, the CIB news is a lot more meaningful than me being self-absorbed about our fundraising. So CME announced the Compute Future launch date, obviously pending approval, is October 5th. So for the exact same any CME futures processes. So if you have CME futures accounts, you can trade on October 5th the Compute Futures. Data futures, same clearing, it's going to be really, really exciting. So that's, I think, the biggest piece for the industry, especially thinking about the NVIDIA $500 billion capital formation, right?
Yeah.
The CME Silicon Data deal is the hedging mechanism, the other side of the coin, right? Once you have $500 billion on your balance sheet, right, you need to figure out how to hedge that. Yeah, so the second news, again, the self-absorbed news is we announced our Series A. first close. I love closing that.
We love that. We love that.
It's
Not
not
self-absorbed.
timing. The reason why I call it first close wasn't the timing I want to announce, but the news came out, I guess. We're very excited for the team. So we have a Trillium Valor. They are leading our round. We have participants from CME, F Prime, DRW, Jump Trading, Banak, Further Venture. It's a suite of them.
Yeah.
So
huge
we are
lineup.
very excited. We're very excited because essentially Silicon Data is the referee for the compute stack, right? From
Yeah.
benchmarking indices. We need people give up inputs and doubt, right? It's critical for the people to understand what we do and stand behind us for all the sweet products we're developing. So it's really exciting.
Yeah. I think we asked the same question to Steve when he came on the show about compute and how it has the potential and very, very strong potential to become the largest commodity in the world. Can you talk to us about the steps that you guys have made this week and the market has made this week into compute being the largest commodity in the world, and what that means for kind of everyday citizens, but then also the wider market in terms of infrastructure and everything else?
So I'm gonna steal a line from Steve. So he said that compute is like a giant baby, a gigantic baby, right? So we're early stage, right? Like the whole ecosystem is in very early stage. However, because of the scale and the velocity for every single stack, right, from the chip stacks to LM layers to adoption globally, right? So it's a gigantic baby. And how do we make sure the baby grow up in a way that's within the guardrail, do the right things, behave the way we expect baby to behave and grow into, right? It's very critical for Silicon Data to have the right indices, the right benchmark. So the way I would think about what we do is, number one, when you have information on pricing transparency, and you can hedge that, right? So that would translate to, hey, if I have exposure to year 1 to 10 for compute rental revenue, and then it's a lot of exposure I have, right? If I can hedge out a later part of year 3, 4, 5, that's great. And then I can manage my exposure right effectively. That also translates to I can put more money in within the risk parameters that I expect, right? So that would translate to a lot of people. A lot of capital can flow in with the right risk management framework. And you can mark to market, right? You don't have to wait like OTC trade at the end to figure out what position I'm in. You can mark to market every day and hedge your position every day, which is fantastic. So we expect with the right benchmarking services, indices, more capital, smart money can come in and manage risk efficiently. So that translates to potentially lower interest rate, right? You think about the reason why interest is high is people have been compensated for risks.
Yeah.
Right? If unknown is the biggest risk, once you can hedge out some of the volatility for the future, more capital can come in, lower the risk, that will translate to a lower interest rate for everybody.
Okay.
So that's one thing. The second piece is benchmarking, right? Just like we have Carfax for cars, right? You and me can have the perfect car to begin with. Let's assume I'm a much better driver. I'm just gonna say that you guys are.
Yeah, we're rubbish drivers.
And in year 5, my car may be worth more than your car, right? We can start with great Tesla car, and then we can assume that both our cars perform the same, right? But in year 5, my car might worth more than yours. So essentially, same thing for servers, right? People have to be able to benchmark servers and create the valuation for the underlying asset class. Once you have that, we don't treat all new clouds the same anymore, right? So what you do not want to do is penalize everybody equally because you do not know how to assess risks. That's just not fair, right? You want to award people who are able to operate efficiently and then manage a thermal degradation for their servers effectively. And they should enjoy a lower interest rate, right? And for the people who just not as great, then the market will decide what rate to put on.
Yeah.
So all we should do is bring efficiency and transparency forward, so more capital can come in efficiently and lower the cost for everybody.
Yeah.
Well,
Very cool.
so CME futures kind of launching on October 5th. Not that long away. What happens in the kind of like first year of trading? We're kind of looking like long term. This is what this is what CME futures trading looks like, or like provides for the markets, but and for companies. What does like the first year of trading look like? What happens first? Who hedges first? I kind of want to understand that, the next year once it launches, what actually happens.
So again, the giant baby had siblings before this baby, right? All industry had, came through the whole sort of a growth phase. If we just look at, what happened back then is when things start getting launched, the front month probably going to trade pretty liquid, right? The market maker and you and me have more confidence. We all can speculate the next 6 months, the rental prices, right? We all think we should know, right? What we are uncertain of is year 2, 3 years ahead of time, right? It's where it gets a little tricky. So most of the commodities, the first year, are pretty liquid, right? You have people participating, people hedging out, people speculating, which is all great. Yeah. So I expect that too. I expect that to happen for compute futures. The later month, I think, where there's going to be a lot of interesting risk management. Yeah. And also block trading, right? So just like any commodities, they're supposed, futures traded transactions. You and me can go and hedge WTI Brent if you want to. Or if we are a major player, we're going to call someone to OTC block trading. That's going to be happening for compute as well, right? So you want to hedge year 5, 6, maybe it's not as liquid on screen. And you have to do block trading, which is fine, right? That's happening in other commodity classes as well. And for people using it, you can think about natural hedgers, right? The way we design a product, the specs is out, is really having natural hedger in mind. We want to help them, and the market maker will come, and speculator will come, which is great. The natural hedgers is what we design the product for. So the natural longs, so think about you are someone either financing tons of GPU servers, they're on your balance sheet, or you're just hyperscale neo cloud. Again, whoever owns GPUs and you naturally long, you want to short futures. And in the future, once we have options, you can do put options, right? For the natural shorts, so natural shorts can be interesting, right? You can be the consumer of GPUs. So think about if you're a token factory, you need rent GPUs, buy GPUs, right? You need consumer of GPUs. You can be major enterprises. Again, you need tons of GPU AI labs, right? So you should really long the futures. So think about American line, right? They consume oil. You need to long the oil contracts to hedge out the cost volatility, right? Aside from them, we're going to be people, for example, they are just have an opinion in terms of what the price is going to be, right? Certain funds that just want to have exposure to long GPU prices. And there are 2 ETF already filed on my indices. And one of the variation is -1 inverse. So that translates into long short as well. So overall, we see a really healthy compute preparation among buy side, sell side, banks, asset managers, ETF, ETN, natural long, natural shorts. Very excited.
Really cool, really cool. You mentioned it really early in what you said right at the start when you came on. It was the huge deal that we saw shake up the whole space the other day, the $500 billion deal. This, we reported on it. We had people come on the show to talk about it. It was huge news. Can you maybe just give us a taste of the scale of this thing that we're looking at? I feel that it wasn't. It was shocking in a sense how it kind of just came out of nowhere. But it's starting. This type of scale of financial backing is necessary for this future that we're going into. Can you maybe just give us a taste of what does this mean for the ecosystem?
I definitely think it is important for people to align on some basics, right? So number one, in the past, I would say 18 months, the most financing happened is based on the contracts you signed, right? It's not equipment financing. It's very different than you finance in an airplane, Airbus, right? People feel very confident. You don't ask Boeing, you don't ask American, hey, how many customers you're gonna have ride a plane, right, for the next 10 years? You just, equipment financing is backed by the plane, right? For example, when Singapore Airlines buy the plane, great, they finance against the plane, and 2 years later, Singapore Airlines say, hey, guess what? I'm so fancy. I'm gonna sell my my third year plane to some other airlines, right? Budget airlines that could keep getting new planes. There are new clouds like that. They just want to have the greatest and latest all the time. And there are new clouds in that, guess what? I'm okay. My goal is deploy small models and, on older chips and more economical, maybe, right? So we have to allow those transactions to happen. So people have able to underwrite, not because they have a rental agreement in hand. And even that, you can assume there's a lot of counterparty risks. That's why CoreWeave and Oracle get penalized sometimes, right? Back in the years, because the market assumed there's a lot of counterparty risks. So if a small neocloud, if your client is another AI startup, how good is your contract? It should be asset-backed, right? Once it's asset-backed, then you have more flexibility from both ends. The AI consumption layer, like I don't have to commit to 5 years, right? As AI startups, I can just say, hey, I want to do 1 year or 6 months, whatever.
Yeah.
That will be fine, right? Because I rely on neocloud to finance it based on the equipments, not because of who I am, what I do, right? So we do think, the industry is moving from a very baby stage phase, giant baby, right? To, hey, let's see how other industry does it, how we do benchmarking against thermal regulation, understand the performance of GPUs, understand the actual residual value. Someone have to come in, do fair market evaluation assessment on the server itself, right? It's not because I like you, like it's the machine. What's the UID, right? For every single GPU and CPU. What's the machine ID? Have you changed the UID? Have you swapped or anything? What's the thermal degradation? What's the flops? What's the actual with time-stamped numbers to back up your evaluation, right? So that's all going to be very critical.
Do you? Sorry, go on.
No, you go.
I was going to say, do you feel like people are getting away with that at the moment? Like, do you feel that there is a lack of transparency and maybe people are being missold certain assets at, prices that are somewhat artificial?
But also, it's kind of tied to my question quickly, is like, and they're being sold for like multi-year behind, after, things are going to be priced in. Like, we've only got, 2 months until things, that there is a genuine live price. And if they've locked up for 3 years, what happens in the 2 years, after you now have a live price, you're paying more than you actually kind of should be?
Then you were kind of stuck, right? So you're paying whatever price for 3 years. You can't break out a contract, right?
You can't,
that's why folding point works. So there are contracts in that we peg along B200 sticking the indices, right? So it comes just like do mortgages, right? It goes up, come down, comes down. You can do that. That's an option that happen in other asset class, right? So back to your point, like, just because we run, again, gigantic baby, right? It's happens so fast. Especially if you think about, 3-4 months ago, if you tell hyperscaler I have something, maybe a chicken coop, I don't know, somewhere, but I have energy, guess what? You can get a contract, right? The verification layer is so thin because guess what? If you say, hey, I want to verify, you're not getting business, right? You think about forward contract today. If you and me enter forward contract, right? You and your cloud, I'm AI startups. You're gonna ask me, say, hey, Carmen, wire me 30% to my account. I was like, wait a minute. What if you default on me? What happened to my 30%?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna sue you, right? There's nothing about oversight from the bank point of view. Traditional forward, I don't give you my money 30% right away. I send to a bank's verify, right? It's a margin account, balance that, which is very different than compute. And then if I push back saying that I don't want to give you 30% of my deposit right away, you'd be like, sure, I have another client lining up. Give me 30%. Good luck to you, right? So the supply demand curve is really weird, and the understanding of the proper management is different. Obviously, from Compute Change, another company I'm CEO of, we try to push things in a more standardized way. The ways that not designed by me is actually tried and true for any other asset class, right? So we know what kind of potential default risk is, to your point. How many people are going to default on their longer term contracts? There are some numbers from other asset class, right? We can think through how do we risk manage those from the vendor point of view. So yeah, a lot of things are in the formation of getting more institutionalized.
Yeah. What's the and this might be a naive question, but why did things take so long to kind of operationalize this? Why did prices stay so opaque? I mean, obviously everything's moved super quickly, but it's not like we've slowed down and now this operationalization has happened. So like, why is now the time for it to happen?
I think the scale and just scale is too big, right?
Okay.
If you
But it's been so big for so long, right? Like it's already been like huge for, you know.
it's really I think people will say, hey, I can put $100 million on my balance sheet, but it gets $1 billion. That's a lot more than they willing to withstand the volatility.
Sure.
So the GPU pricing, the volatility is about 20 to 40 daily vol, which is very healthy for commodities. It's not bad. It's not high or low, right? It's a good expected range. And I really think, even though we're in this, we think it's so slow, but it's really not. If you think about how long did it take oil to standardize, institutionalize, it takes more than a decade.
Yeah.
Right? We're not that slow, but it feels slow because everything's moving so fast at the scale. So definitely, I feel slow too, but
I was about to jump in and ask, like you say you feel slow, but you're managing 2 companies. How is your time split at the moment? That must be quite hectic.
Yeah, I keep telling people I have 2 daughters, I have 2 companies,
and a big baby to deal with as well.
Yeah, it's been great. So it's never a regular day. Depends, when Silicon Data is finishing, obviously fundraising. There's a lot of work with that. Commission start fundraising in a couple of months. I'm sure it'll be all consumed by that. It's pretty funny. The Silicon Data team was like, "Woo, we're down." I was like, "Yeah, good for you." It's like, well, give me a month. It's like having another baby, right? It's great. Just so much synergies, right? Because the participants, providers, my side, they are my clients, they are my data providers who benchmark GPUs. We're helping everybody to gain transparency. That's why I'm passionate about by managing too, because both sides of my clients benefited from my knowledge and experience.
And just before we let you go, like personally, why did you decide to make the change from like the trading floor? I think you were previously at Bloomberg as well first, and then move into kind of being in this CEO position. Obviously the opportunity is huge, but yeah, would love to hear like the personal story.
Yeah, I wish I was a 20 years old genius, right? I wish I could have a great idea when I'm 20 years old and start a company. Really, I did not have any idea. I can convince myself why I'm better than, let's say, you guys, right? I always want to do a startup. I always know I want to do something, be not like CEO, but be entrepreneur, right? But I never find a convincing idea, at least to explain to myself why is my ad sustainable. So that's why, and the trading is really fun. I really enjoy trading for people who are younger, early in their career. I think trading is a great career to get into because it's really meritocracy based, right? 'Cause you get instant market feedback. If you're good, you're great. You're good, you suck, then the market will slap you in the face right away, which you kind of want iterative learning. That's how LM works, right? You want iterative learning, very fast feedback loop, and very transparent, which and the capital markets is so fast in your face.
100%.
It's awesome. And then you don't play politics because no one cares, right? I could be a dog, no one cares. It's doing trading, right? So I really enjoy that experience. And then I moved to different institutions, banks, just want to see other side of the, I guess, financial services, data business. And it was interesting in 2024 where I think I was doing a West Coast, sorry, being very US centric, West Coast, East Coast arbitrage. So in 2024, where GPU came, I have background in FPGAs and computer science.
Yeah.
So when GPU came, I was like, this is going to be the biggest human assets. When I talked to my financial service friends in 2024, they were like, what GPU? What's CPU again? Like, what is this? So it's not well sort of talked about hardware story. And then when I talked to my friends in GPU space, they were like, what is the future? Right? So I feel like I have interesting insights in both.
Yeah.
And I traded indices before. I was data manager, integration across all content for Bloomberg. So I cover indices as well. So I feel like I was uniquely positioned in do this, right? In 2024, no one's really talking about indices. Now you see tons of people like create indices and they want to trade. And we started doing that in 2024, right? So that's something I was like, yeah, I'm the only person who can do it. And once I had that, I was like, yeah, duh. I quit my job right away. It wasn't like a long process to think through, like a day, probably. I just quit my job. Just
Amazing. We love it.
So
we love
true.
it. No, that's so cool.
I would have one more if we have time.
if
I know
you have
we are-
time,
we're
depends.
3 minutes
Yeah,
over.
yeah,
Do you
sure.
have? Okay, cool. I wanted to ask, like, I saw something on the timeline the other day that was basically mentioning, like, someone had tweeted out, like, the compute market will surpass, like, the oil futures market, basically, in the future. And, like, there was a bit of stick on the timeline around it. There was both, like, positive and negative sentiment on it. Like, where do you think? Could you, like, predict on a time span, like, what point will this be, like, the largest asset class in the world, do you think? Because I know Steve kind of mentioned on it a little bit, but we'd love to hear your take.
I think depends on the where you stand. I think within 10 years, really. I think that's very conservative approach. We're talking about 300 billion annual spend, I think last year, and this year is trillion. And then commodity class usually 10 to 15x of the spot. Yeah, I think it's gonna grow very, very quickly. And then think about adoption. Is one thing I don't think I'm very good at is expect to forecast the demand side, right? So how enterprise and you and me adoption, it's not that meaningful because we just use ChatGPT, which is not much token, right? For enterprise to truly adopt LLMs and using GPUs, yeah, that's where we see true adoption start occurring. And which country, right? Right now you can consider only West Coast, East Coast of US and some country, Europe maybe, maybe China mostly, but that's domestic supply and demand curve, right? If they're not coming to, not supposed to overseas to get GPUs, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very, very limited still.
Interesting. We'll let you get back to the day. You are running 2 companies at once, so you probably have a lot of things to do today. But thank you so much for joining us, Carmen. We'd
Yeah,
love
we
to have
really
you back on
appreciate
as
the
well.
time.
Thanks for having me. This is
fun.
great.
No, our pleasure.
We'll
Welcome
make it
back
happen
anytime.
again. See you soon.
Bye.
Ciao.
That was a cool conversation.
That was really good. Really good chat.
Thoroughly enjoyed. You know what I also enjoy is MetaView.
MetaView.
AI agents for winning teams, the agentic recruiting platform built for radically efficient hiring end-to-end. Source, engage, and hire better with agents that truly get your brief. Go to metaview.ai. We also had Sile down yesterday. That was a very, very good chat. Yeah. It's great.
Yes, indeed.
He's a legend.
Yes, indeed,
Go and
we
listen
did.
to the clips because they were great.
Check that out.
We could carry on with this story.
Yes.
I want to go deep into just at the end. I'm going to read you the end, and I think we can create some discourse.
Let's go.
Which is always good.
from the
Discourse
end.
is good. Ryan Kidd, who runs a large research fellowship in AI safety, said that many organizations were already constrained less by funding than by their ability to evaluate grants and scale projects. We effectively don't have a funding bottleneck in most areas of technical AI safety at the moment, said Kidd, adding that the main bottleneck was grant makers having insufficient time to make decisions and founders having the capacity to scale their enterprises. As the fortunes from AI begin to reshape philanthropy, some leaders within EA say the movement is determined to avoid the issues associated with FTX. Lewis Bollard, who directs the Farm Animal Welfare Fund at Coefficient Giving, said, "One of the biggest lessons learned from FTX is you need to be serious. You need to do your own due diligence. It's still crucial that every dollar is really well spent." Now, this I want to touch on this because I don't know how they're going to do this. The influx of capital so I think at the top it basically says some of the employees are looking at giving, I want to say 10%, but I think it's more of their net worth into 80%, of their worth. So and that's just the founders, by the way. So the founders are looking at $8 billion. They've separately pledged to give away 80% of their wealth. Now that's like, kind of, let's just go like broad brush, $6 billion each of the 7. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
It's insane.
And that's just the founders alone. And so the money that's going to be floating into these organizations, like they're saying, hey, like we're going to, you need to be serious. You need to make sure that you do your due diligence of all the money coming in and what you're actually going to go and spend it on. But what happens when you have billions of dollars flowing into an organization that's never even seen $200 million flow in,
and layering in all the staff engineers, all the executives, because I imagine there'll be well more than, because I do feel specifically to AI. I know we touched on it maybe 3 weeks ago when like we had the chart of it's like your post money, what do? You go into like philanthropy or whatever.
sit on a beach, you said, but
Sit on a beach, I think the majority of them sit on the beach. I still truly, firmly believe that.
My lawyer said to me the other day, or yesterday, he said, "What's your sit on the beach number?"
I like that. I like that
I was
number.
like,
I like that.
That's cool, dude.
Wonder what the sit on the beach number is. I mean, I'd love to.
We'll figure it out.
But the I think like we had one in the studio a few weeks ago. A good friend of ours.
Who are post money, man.
Not post money, but had sort of left one mission that was a profitable mission. It was on the day Alex joined, actually, a friend of ours. I won't mention them by name, so I'm not sure if they want to know the story. Their name is actually the story, but had walked away from like a pretty good mission that was very fruitful of cash to go into ethics and AI safety because they're concerned about the steps we're making, right? And I do think that those that sit at the frontier will, one, obviously know like a lot more than us in terms of what's actually going on at the frontier.
Yeah.
So in the company, you're probably like pretty well traversed as like how good are the models, where are we actually, like how capable are these things, are they dangerous, are they not?
Sure.
So I think that even within that, we'll probably underestimate, let's not even say like the people who have signed up to like pledge, but the missionaries that will go out to try and work on their own on these sort of like, that I would put in those brackets, right? It would be like non-profits, like AI safety ethics, sort of like groups or committees or research squads. There wouldn't be like maybe squads. Squad. I would call them a squad, like a little SWAT squad.
The SWAT squad.
Safety SWAT squads. But that would be, not included in that rung that they're discussing there. But also, I would align that to like good cause, not seeking like profit entities. That I think won't be represented in these numbers. And I think we will not only just see that for like Anthropic, which I think is what they mention.
Yeah, this is all about the
80%.
Anthropic. They obviously mentioned OpenAI within this, but Anthropic is more of a concrete, example in terms of numbers. It's being priced in now. People were saying it's only a few months away. They're saying kind of beginning of maybe like, well, let's just go like September, October, which is not far away at all.
But yeah, like even like the other labs, like I would see similar movements, similar causes directed at this. And also like when they make that much cash, like I do think, again, going back to the sit on the beach, start your own thing, or work on like ethics and.
But remember, these people
alignment.
won't need their personal money to start their own thing either.
No, absolutely not. But that's why I think
They
that
are
they
the most
could
legible
pursue
for capital people on the
100%
planet.
if they were making a return, though. So I think they can use more of these people.
What do you mean?
So like if they wouldn't be able to raise money for a non-profit generating entity that's focused on like ethics and like policy.
Well, no. But what I'm saying is that like you're saying they're giving away all their money and then they have say $1 billion to like pay with. We're talking about the founders right now.
Yeah.
Okay. No, let's talk about the ones who joined in 23, right?
Yeah.
Smart cookies.
Load of cash.
Joined 250 people, 250
Absolutely
people of
sitting on the
Anthropic,
chairs.
sitting on between, we're talking hundreds to $1 billion.
Yeah.
Let's go 500 million. You cash in 500 mil, you're probably giving away 50% like that. 250 mil, you're still not going to need 250 mil to go and start a company yet. But you can just go and you don't need that 250 mil can just be for you because you were 250 people at Anthropic. You're going to be able to raise that 250 in a day.
Yeah. I completely agree. But I think that's if you were starting a new business that was like a profit generating business.
Why would they not?
So
Do you think they would go and start a philanthropic, or is not non-profit?
If they wanted to start a non-profit, they wouldn't be able to raise money. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So they could just put their own money into the non-profit. And I think that people would be underestimating the amount of people that would be happy to go and do that. Having spent time at the frontier and understanding, I'm a little bit worried about maybe the direction or the speed in which we're getting there. So I feel like a lot more of them are maybe like more safety cautious than we think, because we only see.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
The perspectives of, and they are in some part also, like the speed at which the companies are moving are obviously being paced by the founders.
Yeah.
So it's like, yes, they're an Anthropic employee, but they may not actually agree with the lack of guardrails or the pace that they're moving on. But there's nothing they can do because they're just like, well, what else are you going to do? Apart from if you then went, you're like, I'm going to leave, then you can go and raise whatever the hell you wanted to. We covered that guy from DeepMind that is in talks to raise 500 mil.
Jeff.
No,
Jeff Dean's in talks to raise $1 billion.
Yeah, he's doing a bill. This
Bill-
guy's
a bill
just
at-
like
a bill at 10.
His name was
Just your average researcher. I don't know who it
he's
is.
doing
What's his
500
name?
mil. Jack Parker Holder, so he led DeepMind's world model efforts.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
looking
yeah,
at
yeah,
500
yeah,
mil.
Yeah.
So like, do you know what I mean? Like, guy's obviously incredibly capable.
Yeah.
And obviously like leading DeepMind's world model efforts he must be an absolute genius. 500 mil fundraise. Like that is absolutely
Stacked.
insane. Yeah, absolutely stacked.
Yeah.
So we're starting to see some massive
Some companies are going to make lots of money. Talking about a company making lots of money, Hex. Go to hex.tech, the AI analytics platform where trust meets insight. Hex helps teams of all sizes by giving teammates the ability to get insights from their data wherever they work. Go to hex.tech. They are legends of the game. Let's talk about DeepSeek. We have 10 minutes before our next guest joins us. This was a Wall Street Journal article that came out today on August 14th. DeepSeek lifts AI model prices fourfold. We cover this on the timeline a bunch on our X account, which I'm sure you'll be watching if you're watching this episode. Even after the increase, it still charges far less than US AI players and Chinese peers. However, the increase generally is the interesting thing. It's a strategy play. The Wall Street Journal, they started off the article by saying Chinese DeepSeek is hiking prices for its flagship V4 models amid fierce competition among artificial intelligence players. Through its latest prices remain below its rivals. New peak hour pricing will be over 4 times higher than current levels, according to a post on its official website on Thursday. The increase will take effect on August the 16th. Now you have 2 days until the prices increase. For DeepSeek V4 Pro model, they still ship on Sunday. Users will pay $3.96 for 1 million output tokens during peak hours, and half that during off-peak hours. That's up from 87 cents per million tokens previously. Insane, like, hike in price. Still cheaper.
What do we think, like, off-peak hours, on-peak hours? Is this just like, surely that wouldn't be a set time. It would be when they see...
I think it will be liquid. Yeah, I think it will be. Yeah. Well, I think it will be liquid. But then again, like if it depends.
But then you just avoid those hours, then, right? Like if they set hours, it must be like.
You just become nocturnal, maybe. I don't know. Tokens are the units of AI text. Everyone knows what tokens are. The DeepSeek V4 Flash model will charge $1.32 per million output tokens during peak hours, and half that during peak hours, the post said. Even after the increase, DeepSeek still charges far less than US AI players and Chinese peers. Moonshot's AI Kimi K3, for example, charges $15 per million output tokens. DeepSeek is in talks with prospective investors for a new round of fundraising after raising more than $7.4 billion in June. The company is preparing to list shares in Shanghai as early as the second quarter of next year, the Wall Street Journal reported. So they are still like $11, more like cheaper than the next best in terms of price. They're obviously being told by their investors, "Hey, hike this price. We need more revenue." You know, and obviously we're going to come in at a higher valuation, but I guess it's coming from the founders, right? It's like, look, if we're going to be being valued on a multiple basis, revenue multiple basis, let's just hike the price and see what happens.
And they can,
easily. They have a window. They have a window for sure.
Usability. The hours, by the way. So a peak valley pricing structure for the API service, charging double its standard rate during peak usage hours, which is 9 a.m. to noon, and then 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
So they have a lunch time. Break.
Yeah.
Interesting. Surely you just ship through lunch then?
Yeah, well, this is Beijing's time specifically.
Yeah, but
so
as in, like, if you're in Beijing,
just move lunch later. Take a European lunch.
Take a Euro lunch. Wake up at 11, go for coffee 11 till 3, 11 till 2. Yeah. Ship 2 till 3.
Yeah. Then get
siesta
on the beach.
3 till 6.
Nap. Relax.
Maybe start shipping after 9 p.m. Was it 9 p.m.?
If you don't want to, then don't bother.
Sorry, 9 p.m.
9 a.m. to noon, and then 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.
So from 6 p.m., if you're just a night owl, 6 p.m. till 12
that's when you
or 1, Just ship it.
That's when you go ahead and ship.
Ship 6
I love
till
how they're
12.
very conscious about like the lunch breaks. I think it's like I only found out like a year ago that Japan's stock market like stops trading
It does.
for an hour.
Yeah.
Like,
They're very serious about lunches.
they have, and you can see it there, and it says on the thing is like lunch break on the actual stock market, like on the ticker thing.
I see.
Yeah. I thought that was.
I think it's like
awesome.
I think it's like a mutual respect thing.
Yeah. Well, it's gangster as hell. I love that. I wish we could have that. I'm surprised we don't have that. A lunch break in our stock market.
I think
That
it's
sounds
just
a good thing.
I think it's just a classic kind of European unspoken rule of like you kind of know everyone is, but it doesn't need to be kind of like spoken into existence.
It's just like let's not tell
Just
anyone. But
let's not tell anyone.
we all
And
know
then
what's
the
going
classic
on.
European, if you are working, through lunch, everyone's going to be looking down at you like,
Yeah, screw that
"You're-
person.
screw that.
I will say
Not
when
a
I
proper
when I
European."
worked in
That's very European.
very briefly and in very small stints at Pigment in Paris.
Yeah.
I remember my first time. So that was like my first like real
Proper
job, to be
job.
honest.
Yeah.
And part of the onboarding was to go to Paris to just like ramp up there for a week, like meet some of the team. They were French headquartered, and the team at the time in London was only like 5 of us. And then there was like 80 people in Paris. It just made sense to go meet all the colleagues that you're working with remotely. Bit of a narrative violation, to be honest. Like not too much of a narrative violation, but I got there.
What do you mean by that?
So like they
Is
start
it
at,
like they were
they was working super hard. Like they start at they start at 8.
shocked?
They start at 8, which I thought was interesting in itself. 'cause,
We start at
like,
7.
We do start at 7.
We stop at 12 right now.
Midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 12 p.m.
Well, yeah, we work till midnight though. But so they start at 8,
Yeah.
and then they'll go for lunch at about 1,
That's fine.
and then they won't come. They'll go for 2 hours. Yeah. So they like super
What
long.
happens if they what happens if they're getting, if you got a fire to put out? Lunch
lunch.
is still happening.
Mate, lunch is like lunch first, then fire,
Fire,
then
company dying,
Yeah.
then
or like lunch, family, fire, company dying. Yeah, that's probably the order it goes in. But they have the 2-hour lunch, but then they'll work till like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. in like
okay,
just
so they're
standard
technically
business.
doing a 10-hour day then.
Yeah, but we're talking like this isn't like founder mode. This is just like normal people at a company who like some of them may not even own equity. I think
It's
everyone
because
did own
they
equity, to be fair.
do they. I mean, the Spanish eat dinner very very late,
Yes.
9 p.m., 9:30.
I think the French do as well, though. Maybe
Yeah.
not as late as. Let's
Oh,
ask Alex.
where's Alex?
He's not in here. Where's he?
Where's
going?
Alex?
Where's our French correspondent? He's run off. Oh, wait, surprise! The French guy is not at work.
He's
He's at lunch. He's at lunch.
Siesta time for him.
siestering. He's siestering. That's hilarious. Our French team member isn't actually here. He's on.
He's at
It
lunch.
is 1:41 to be
He's
fair,
at lunch.
so
He'll be back in 19 minutes.
We'll see him.
He'll be putting out fires, companies dying
So
around
funny.
us, and I'm actually crying.
Oh, that was so funny. He'll love seeing this clip. That's he's literally not here as we're telling this story.
How long has he been gone for? Half an hour. He's been gone for half an hour.
Oh, Max. Thank you, Max, for grassing. Thank you. We need a good grass in here.
He's
That's
doing
amazing.
internal investigations
Oh,
as much as like
yeah.
out of the office investigations.
Our French
Well, anyway,
employee.
don't hire the French clearly because they go for big lunches.
I will say though, Pigment was a group of hard workers. They work super late.
Just to get it in there.
just to make sure that message
get it in there,
is
yeah.
implanted.
Talking
in there.
talking about hard workers, 11 Labs,
Let's hear
AI
it.
that communicates at a human level across every channel and modality, deploy conversational agents across every customer interaction and content at scale. Get it at 11labs.io. They are a bunch of hard workers for sure.
For sure.
Before we have our next guest on, actually,
have Neil coming
we've got 2
in
minute. So, what do you want to do?
2:45.
Because we've got a bunch of articles from our new friends over there at the Gentleman's Journal that we want to pull, but we can do that after.
I want to get some
our run of
interludes onto
interviews.
what.
Do we have Neil
is
in the
doing.
studio or no?
He's not here for another 2 minutes, but I want to pull up some of the stuff that they've been shipping on X first.
Let's pull up
precursor.
Neil's, and then we have Ben. Ben came on the scene.
Ben's back. Ben's back. He's coming back.
Was it
again.
last week? I think Ben was in last week.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Last
Ben
week
was
or-
last week Thursday. So it's been just over a week.
Oh, was that last week?
EP Holdings. He's a legend. We're going to talk about Nebius a lot because Nebius is ripping. The neoclouds are absolutely ripping. CoreWeave doing well.
This is pinned on Superwhisper's profile, and this is Kapathi.
Yeah, Kapathi. Yeah.
Using
Andrea.
the product. If I can we hear this?
I can't hear that.
First thing I want to cover
I can
is
hear it.
how can you very easily just... What I'd like to talk about now is to talk about different modalities. That means we want to interact with these models in more native human formats.
Why did this
so
not go
I want
more
to speak
viral?
to it, and I want it to speak back to me. And I want to give images or videos to it, and vice versa. I want it to generate images and videos back.
When's this posted?
So
March
it needs to
24.
handle the modalities of speech and audio, and also of images and video. So the first thing I want to cover is how can you very easily just talk to these models? And I just prefer to speak to the model. There's no microphone icon, so I can't just speak to it and have it transcribe to text inside this app. So what I use all the time on my MacBook is I basically fall back on some of these apps that allow you that functionality, but it's not specific to ChatGPT. It is a system-wide functionality of taking your audio and transcribing it into text. The one I'm currently using is called Superwhisper, and I would say it's quite good.
Imagine having
So
Andre
the way this
Kapathi
looks
as
is
one of
you
your
download the app, you install it on your MacBook, and then it's always ready to listen to you. So you can bind a key that you want to use for that. So for example, I use F5. So whenever I press F5, it will listen to me, then I can say stuff, and then I press F5 again, and it will transcribe it into text. So let me show you. I'll press F5. I have a question. Why is the sky blue? Is it because it's reflecting the ocean? Okay, right there. Enter. I didn't have to type anything. So I would say a lot of my queries, probably about half, are like this. Because I don't want to actually type this out. Now,
Such a sick
I'm so surprised that didn't
affiliate.
do more than 226,000.
226. Yeah, decent.
It's
Footage.
okay. It's okay, but you would have thought 500 plus. No.
Yeah, true, to be fair. It's like, yo, check how mad this is. Getting customer endorsement from Kapathi. Insane. What I think is more insane than that is, when we were
It's
discussing...
BVNK actually.
BVNK.
BVNK, accelerating the global money movement. BVNK provides enterprise-grade stablecoin infrastructure for global businesses, enabling fast, compliant payments and digital asset solutions worldwide. Go to bvnk.com. Legends.
We mentioned it a while back. Our huge multi-million pound idea was the gooseneck mics. The gooseneck mics, branded though.
Branded gooseneck mics.
I saw Whisperflow the other day.
They did it.
Branded gooseneck mics.
They're gonna have them. They're gonna have them.
From
I mean, that's
Whisperflow.
like clear reason. That's clearly perfect for their use ICP.
100%. We got a
Does that
knock
mean
at the
someone's
door.
in the studio?
We got our next guest coming in. We do. We absolutely
He's
do.
knocking on the door.
Let's get him in there. Let's get Neil in here.
Superwhisper.
We just watched the demo. Andres Kapathi is giving it a shout out. Neil, how's it going?
Hey guys, good. How are you doing?
Doing very
Great.
well, sir. Welcome to the show. We just watched Kapathi show off Superwhisper on your behalf.
Yeah, right on. Yeah,
That was,
shout out to Andre.
That's a nuts video, dude. That's such a nuts video.
Yeah.
When did I can't remember the date that it came out. We were saying that should have done more impressions.
Yeah, I think that was I don't know.
It's back in May, I think.
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't know. Feb maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So cool.
yeah, it's sick. Yeah, big shout out to him. He kind of made our name. He put the product right in the inaugural vibe coding tweet.
Yeah.
And I think to date, I mean, that tweet's went fucking nuts. So so kind of that's our stake in the ground for sure.
Indeed.
Dude, so
Legend of
sick.
the game.
So sick.
Please, we'd love to have a temperature check from you about Superwhisper. How's it all going over there? We got a bunch of questions for you, but give us a temp check.
Yeah, really good. So to give I guess the audience a little bit of background, we're not like that. We're not typically we're not VC backed. We're a small team out of Toronto, Canada. We are the first to market with this form factor. Like our launch predates Whisperflow, but we've taken a different path in that, like not going like the hyper growth kind of VC back. Despite that, you know, we have we got Meta, we have OpenAI, we have Coinbase, Robinhood, all as customers. So tons of great traction.
Cool.
Customers love us. We're much more privacy focused. So we aim to run everything on your machine. So our belief is like, you know, you wouldn't install a keylogger on your keyboard. So why would you ever want to, if you're using your voice to type everything, why are you sending it all off to a server somewhere, right? Like that'd be a crazy thing. That'd be a massive security hole.
Yeah.
If somebody at work was like, hey, install this keylogger and send everything you're typing to your you know, your wife up to this company. So that's our belief and that's our focus.
It's so sick. Could you maybe point like the timeline of when did this sort of like voice to text get really good? And I feel like it's taking off at an insane rate. We were just mentioning then, like we're seeing like branded gooseneck mics. Like we visited a founder's office the other day here in London. I thought that was more of like an SF thing, but we visited a founder's office recently in London. Like all the engineers have them. Like that feels more recent than just like obviously genuine voice to text. But would love to get an idea from like your guys' perspective. Like how's that timeline looking, and also like how is it ramping up right now?
Yeah, it's been interesting. So I've been in the game for a while, right? Like I started working on it December 22. And so it's been kind of like, hey, this is really great for a long time, and then all of a sudden it's like, you know, people are like, have you heard about this? I'm like, God damn it. But
been here for 3 years, buddy.
But yeah, no, I would say the last 2 years have been a crazy ramp, and super exponential. You're seeing like a lot of big products integrate or come out with like competitive solutions. The models have been good for a long time. I would say like Whisper, like the Whisper series of models, like the first one they open sourced was like an incredible leap, and it kind of went quiet on the world, at least for dictation. Nobody really picked up on it for like it took a long time. But I think we're finally there where people are realizing, and the models are getting really good, particularly real time is insane. And your just ability to run LLMs cheaply to do like the final pass, and even how powerful the average consumer laptop is, and running, for our case, for running the models offline. Small language models got really good too. So it's a kind of convergence of all those things, just like coming up with the marketing.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about the like running models offline, right? What does what were the technical like hurdles that you guys had to like jump through or jump over to allow like the models to be good enough to be working offline, and making sure like, you know, user speech data isn't being sent into a server somewhere else? You know, is that actually a really big moat for you guys nowadays? And was it kind of a big kind of technical challenge that you guys had to overcome? Yeah.
So definitely the challenge there is right, like you can't just train one model to do everything, or have something super heavy and optimize for accuracy and like pay for it with, you know, GPU hosting. Like you have to pick a target and like optimize, like get everything you can out of it. Not to mention differences in hardware, particularly on Windows, it's crazy. So it takes a lot of work. I think you basically come to a place where you split up a lot of utilities into separate small models, and you approach it that way. We're getting pretty good at it now. We're actually going to be releasing our own model early next week.
That's great.
We're going to open it too, so it'll be great. I think it'll be kind of a good base for people to collaborate around. And we also just partnered with a lab in Canada called Cohere, and brought their voice model into the product as kind of our flagship offline solution. So they're awesome, and yeah. So I a huge belief in the offline approach to this. I think fundamentally it makes sense to me. Yeah, like there's companies that literally can't use they can't use like a cloud solution for this. It's just, they can't even store, like if you're SEC regulated,
Yeah, you're just
you
not
can't
allowed.
store,
Yeah.
can't store transcripts at all. Like
Yeah.
their loophole is we're okay storing summary notes because it's equivalent to somebody writing something down during a meeting.
Yeah.
We can say like, oh, you don't need to, like the AI could have messed that up. They didn't actually say that, you know, and get away with something if they get like audited. So it's great for us because we can just make a setting that says don't keep the transcript, keep the summary notes, and everything stays on the user's computer and doesn't get sent anywhere else. So,
yeah. That's so good. That's so sick. You mentioned bootstraps, like create, and those logos that you're throwing out there, they're huge logos, right? Like Cohere, like they have Cohere have a huge exposure here in London as well. But also you mentioned OpenAI, like there's others in your space that have raised like loads of cash at huge valuations. So one, I guess, like, we'd love to know why was the decision to bootstrap? It's obviously working, but we'd love to get that. That's it. And I guess then a response as well. It sounds like you're doing this earlier than other incumbents in the space. So what's the feeling like when you're grinding and then you see like, hey, these guys just raised like a hell of a lot of cash at a crazy valuation. Like that must be mad.
Yeah, I think so. I've done the VC backed thing. My first company just got acquired for like just under 200 mil. I've lived that life. I know what it's like. We did that in Toronto. 10 years CTO, co-founder. So I've done the path, and I think it's partially because I wanted to see what it would be like, curiosity, and also need, like, we took off really quickly out of a side project, really. Like I started working on this while I was still doing my last thing, and it was quickly making more than enough to sustain development. Now more than ever, I don't think you need massive teams to build great software. Like you really just need it for marketing budget. Like it's the reality of it is, like, if you can convince, I don't know, 6 good people to come and build with you, like at least for this product category where there's, it's pure software, that's all you need for great stuff, if the people who are doing it are truly great. So
love that. That's a hilarious, like, and it's so true. Like, so we're seeing that with, like, if we look at the spend generally on distribution, I'm just saying distribution, like put marketing and distribution together type of thing. Like cinematic videos are being dropped, like huge celebrity co-endorsements are being dropped. So that's a really interesting point.
How big's the team?
We're 8 people now. We have some contracting, so I mean like 12, 13 in total, but 8 full time.
And what are your guys like main focus now? The kind of like model, like your own model is built. Like, what's the kind of focus now? Just, I guess, making it better, iterating. Is there any other focus that you guys are, keen to kind of crack? And if you do, then you can open up a like big growth. Is it the look into these regulated industries? Is that kind of like the kind of moat and the wedge into those guys because they can't use other competitors?
Yeah, I think I think a lot of our VC-backed competitors are doing a great job educating the market on the category.
Yeah, they're doing the marketing for you guys. That's good.
Yeah, you counterposition against that as a privacy-forward, great tool for real professional work, and I think especially at a bootstrap, you have a winner on your hands, right? The bar is very different. I don't need to have a $10 billion exit. For me and the team to have a great outcome. So, that's the plan, right? We're going to keep like giving stuff back to open source. We're going to keep contributing and building a great product.
That's so sick. A question around, like, I guess the future in general, but more like holistically on the industry itself. I can't remember who it was. Someone, one of the big dogs. I can't remember. I seen a tweet on the timeline the other day that was like, at some point we'll look back and we'll find it like weird that we would ever be typing on laptops. Like the future is just this sort of voice to text interface, even to the point where you may not even see the text displayed on the screen. It's just like a back and forth conversation between you and your computer. How far away from that do you think we are? Is this do you align with that thesis as well? Like, how do you see the long-term vision of this?
So my thoughts on that are for certain types of work, definitely yes, probably all voice, right? It's effectively an EA, right? And you're already there. I mean, if you've tried like some of the OpenAI like voice mode stuff, it's like getting really close. I think there's certain types of work where the bandwidth of being able to read text on your screen is such a big advantage, right? Like your speed of reading is it's like 2 or 3 times listening, maybe even more than that, especially if you're able to parse quickly or scan, right? So I think obviously for anything visual, like it's a non-starter. Like you need the screen, you need the big splash display, like the Tony Stark up in front of you, and then. But I think voice in makes a ton of sense, right? Like to be typing on a keyboard with shortcuts and that kind of thing. I think that's, it's a question of when, but it's going to change. It has to.
Yeah. And then follow on from that, just before you were jumping on, I don't know when it was, maybe 4 months ago or something. Me and Luke were going back and forth around like branded gooseneck mics. Like, why is a company not owning that? And then I think it was Whisperflow, I can't remember, that's now selling branded gooseneck mics. That for me is like, I saw that as a huge opportunity, like as a side project potentially, right? It's not like this is going to do $1 billion. It's maybe like a marketing avenue, more so than like I'm going to make loads of money doing this. Do you guys have any plans to any like wacky stunts like that as well, or are you just going to let the guys that can't do offline do the marketing for you all the time?
I think gooseneck mics are kind of a bad expression of a mic in general. Like just as a form
you're
factor,
right. No, you're right. You're right.
It's not a good one. You have to like lean forward and tap the button. It's like
you kind of hunched over.
I heard they had foot pedals as well. Like they had their own kind of, like a drum set. You have a foot pedal that you can, so you're just hands free speaking to, your Claude or whatever you want to speak to.
We have a partnership with a company called Augmental. And they have they have a necklace with a button on it. I think that makes the most sense, right? You're sitting back or walking around or doing whatever, and you have the unit and you press the button, speak. There's a bunch of these like vibe coding keyboards too that are coming out that are wireless and handheld, and they have like the approve deny button on it and that sort of thing. I think that makes sense, right? Gooseneck mic is bad because you're trapped in the same chair as you are with a keyboard. So it's like, what do you have this advantage of being able to go hands-free, lay back, walk around, be like unchained from your desk, and you're not taking it. Like, I don't get it.
So true.
I use this one right now. This is like
I noticed
just a lav mic. They're great. The quality is pretty good, and you still need some way to stop and start. But
do you wear that? Do you wear that like around the office, like around home maybe as well? Like is it a daily driver type thing?
Yeah, I totally.
Way.
I use it. I just leave it on all day, and not so much at home. I try to like leave work at work, but but we wear them home by accident all the time, like because they're so little.
You're like, oh shit, we've done it again.
That's so joke.
So funny.
Every time we do like these like specifically interesting interviews, I realize like how ancient my life is, like how analog my day-to-day is. Like we should definitely be using that here.
Yeah.
Like we have so much text-heavy work. It's just so interesting. We need to get some more mics. Maybe this would work actually with that.
Yeah,
I just walk around.
That's what I did I did a boom mic for a long time. And then I just wanted a little bit more like movement freedom.
So. Yeah, hell yeah, that's well
awesome, man. Well, look, we'll have to get you back on because we've run out of time. But super interesting. We'd love to dive more, deeper into this kind of like wearables and like where you feel like that's going. We have our next guest about to call in.
You're launching the model next week.
Yeah.
Let's run it back next week. Let's
If you have
go
time,
again.
we'd love to.
If you're free, obviously.
Sure. Yeah.
Mate, amazing.
The 15 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Let's go.
we'll speak offline.
Amazing.
All right. We'll
Cheers,
see you soon,
Neil.
dude.
Have a good one, dude.
Ciao.
Take care, guys.
Ciao.
Before we have our next guest on, Airwallex.
Leave our data business banking behind.
With Airwallex, the all-in-one financial platform built for the pace of modern business. Go to airwallex.com. We've left Ben in the waiting room, sure, far too late.
Let's get Ben in
far
here.
too long,
He's
sorry.
back. Let's get him back.
He's knocking on the door. He's been knocking on the door for 4
Get
minutes.
Ben back. Everyone's shouting it.
We
Everyone's
felt
been
super
chanting it
bad.
outside the studio.
We've got a bunch of questions,
Bring
mostly
Ben
about
back.
Nebius.
Bring Ben back.
Here he is.
Good morning, lads. Good morning, or good afternoon. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday,
Likewise,
Ben.
yeah.
How are we? We've been calling you the fortune teller, the future teller over here, Ben, because I know we had
Really?
it back and
What did I
forth.
predict?
You predicted the AI biology next frontier interface. It was only 2 days after we had that conversation that we had a guy come on and talk about their new human data center that they'd built.
Nuts. It's nuts.
So I just thought
His
that
backdrop
was
was
a
a
funny...
data center with, mechanical arms, doing all sorts of things.
It was
He gave us
crazy.
a very small
I sent you the
tour.
link. I linked you on
I saw.
our back and
It's
forth.
definitely the way things are headed.
Next frontier.
It's really exciting to see these things happening.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. Well, look, we have a load of stuff to discuss with you. That isn't exactly on the biology side of things this time, more on financing, markets, what's happening. Where should we start? Maybe with the NVIDIA.
We can start with that. Let's do that.
Ben, break us down. What does this mean for the ecosystem? What are we seeing here? This number is gargantuan. We'd love to hear it from you.
It's what's really cool is that these chips or these GPUs that NVIDIA makes, they're so unique, but so well used and fungible around the whole ecosystem, is that now large Wall Street banks can pull capital from institutions and investors and actually finance these GPUs for other neoclouds or businesses or sovereign countries, because it's a fungible asset. It's almost like the equivalent of like a Boeing airplane. Like a 747 with certain specs trades for a certain amount. And an NVIDIA, B200 Blackwell or a Vera Rubin system will trade for a certain amount. It's an asset, as opposed to a Google TPU or a custom chip that Amazon makes for itself. It's only used for Amazon. Those are not as financeable. This creates like a liquid marketplace for compute as an asset.
And talk to us about the scale of this. I mean, we had the CEO of Silicon Data on earlier, just mentioning the news
forward
of
contracts.
Basically, which will help finance this boom, which is a great thing. But I think a lot of people were kind of shocked at the number, but then once you actually look a bit deeper into it, it's not. It's sort of rolled out a little bit slower. It's not as truly shocking. But what the scale of this? What do you think it means for the space?
It's a big scale, but at the same time, the number isn't as big as you think it is. I think Goldman Sachs, the CEO, DJ Solomon, shout out to DJ Solomon, said there's $10 trillion of capital in money market funds and equities. It's looking for yield. So if they can give investors a comfortable 7-8% return on financing GPUs, they'll do that, and it just adds more liquidity to the marketplace. But at the same time, it allows neoclouds like a Nebius or a CoreWeave or some of these other names or Volta that are coming out to create these AI factories to produce more intelligence. Because I think at the end of the day, what people need to understand, we're not going to be stopped using compute, and compute is almost like water or electricity. It's it's a utility. Once that turns off, you're stuck. If you can't use your Claude or OpenAI, if you can't get your answers, then what are you going to do? So you do need your compute, and that's a future utility that all these companies are racing to build.
I wanted to ask about this kind of the physical asset side versus the kind of the companies that are providing compute as a service type thing. What you touched on it right at the beginning. It's a very limited kind of physical product, but then also very widely used. Like, what does that mean for like the moat of a company like an NVIDIA? How does a market kind of react to when a company like that is just like, they are just providing such a good service to, the whole market? Like, how has that really ever happened before? Like, are there, can we kind of price this in and compare it to something else that's ever happened, or is this like such a unique situation?
It's unique because for the longest time, computer chips and computers were something you financed or leased for a few years, and then once the upgrade cycle was kind of over, after you would basically recycle the computers because they were like you just couldn't use them anymore. But now with GPUs and compute, and obviously the CUDA layer, and what developers are doing across the world, like these systems are finding a useful life sometimes 6 years after introduction. So like the A100, which came out 6 years ago, is still in some data center like CoreWeave has, and people are using it to train some models into 2029. You can't say the same thing about a computer that you bought 10 years ago. Like, no one's using that. Like, you threw that away already. So, one of the cool things of the NVIDIA product is that you get constant software updates and fine tuning and upgrades because of the CUDA software. So from a customer perspective, you're getting a benefit. You're like, oh, if I buy this, it's not going to stay the same. It's actually maybe even going to get better over time. So I should use this. I should pay more. I should get this product.
Okay, interesting. And then let's talk about the neoclouds. We did have a bunch of questions about Nebius and their earnings and what's going on there. Can you just generally give us like a heat map on like, why are neoclouds just rallying? What is happening generally? And then we've got a bunch of questions about the kind of earnings specifically.
Yeah, I was actually at the Nebius had a inflection event in early June in San Francisco, where the whole management team and some customers were there. So I got to meet Alexei and Ronan and a bunch of the engineers. Like, these guys are, they're all based out of Europe or Israel. Like, they don't really have a US presence. No one really knows them. You see their advertisements everywhere, but they have the background of making these products for many years in Europe. So like, they've built clouds and infrastructure by hand very well all these years, and they know what they're doing. The question is the market and US customers aren't really aware of who they are. But now, if you go see what they're actually building the first, in my opinion, it's like an Amazon of pure NVIDIA GPUs, specifically for AI workloads, like full stack with the software, CPUs, everything. And you can buy bare metal, or you can run instances like an AWS style on software, and they give it to you in every way, and they serve it. And I think they optimize so much on cost and performance that they really are delivering value to their customers, and you can see it in their numbers. And the funny thing is it did run up a lot and then run down because of, obviously, our friend Leopold was a big believer in the company, and obviously his fund had some issues that had to go away. And then our friend Michael Burry, famous from the movie The Big Short, and calling the 2008-2009 great financial crisis for housing, was went and told all of his subscribers and everybody on X that, like, I'm short, like, this company is a fraud, and like it doesn't have this value. And I was like, whoa, this is not,
it's crazy.
I don't think he understands where we are and what he's doing. For you to really do these things, you just can't blindly look at numbers and stock charts. You have to really understand where the technology is heading, who's using these products, and their trajectory. And I think he led a lot of people blindly into the slaughterhouse, and they reported on the next day or that morning, and a 30% plus move on a company like that size, to me, demonstrates that there was a lot of short interest in the company, and a lot of people did lose money. on blindly following that kind of information,
Yeah.
because we are compute constrained, and a company like Nebius doesn't have like long-term contracts. Their contracts are all short, and they're selling compute at a high price because demand is so high. I mean, that's really what it is.
Yeah, they were. There was speculation, of course, about or the narrative that Nebius was kind of spending its way to growth. But I think they had a negative EBITDA like last year. Now they've grown their way to a positive EBITDA, which is great. What does that what does that signal to the market? Obviously, Michael Burry shorting this obviously was a bad idea, and you can see that from the numbers. But what is that kind of shift of narrative and killing of that kind of narrative of spending their way to growth? CapEx is obviously high, but the demand is higher, and they're able to meet that demand.
Yes, I mean, CapEx inherently is always scary for companies because you want to see an ROI, but the CapEx that they're doing is aligned with customer demand, either Microsoft or Meta or other customers. And at the same time, from a construction and discipline standpoint, I think they even actually build their own flavor of hardware racks. And I think they were showing me that we designed a data center in a way where we know where the air is flowing, so we can save, a few bucks on cooling. So they're full stack all the way down from before they even pour the concrete. They know exactly where to shave to make these things work. I think they're doing a data center in Finland and then London, somewhere in London. And I think they're breaking down somewhere in France. They're just not understood. But like once you sit down and like you really meet the engineers and the people behind the team, you're like, wow, like these guys really know their stuff. I like this company.
Yeah, and they have I saw they had like a pipeline of like $9 billion which is insane. And obviously like customers, Meta, Microsoft, and everyone else in between.
Yeah, we were lucky enough to have Raman, the CBO and co-founder on. I think it was last earnings call actually.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And they're a great team. Super lucky to have a connection to them. There was something that you mentioned there that was really interesting on the topic just beforehand in terms of like. Michael Burry's position, the short, obviously has not paid off. He's led, everyone that's subscribing to his Substack, unfortunately, as you say, to a slaughter. But the part you mentioned around like his pricing mechanism is looking at the numbers. It's just the numbers alone, not the momentum, the direction. Where is the new epicenter? Where are things heading in general? And I think that's really interesting. Like, how do you feel? In that regard, do you feel that like his way of pricing things, like basic numbers, is essentially over for these particular businesses? The one that it looks like it could be a huge winner in the future. Would love to get your take.
Yeah, we're in a new era of business creation and valuation and business growth. We have companies like Anthropic that maybe might exit the year at $100 million at ARR when they started this maybe in January at 10. I mean,
really, was it that low? I thought it was like they're currently at 47. I thought it was.
No, I think Anthropic is like 70, 80 right now.
Okay,
OpenAI is
but they started
like
at 10 this year.
Yes.
Wow, okay, I didn't know that. I thought they started at 40. That's insane. Wow.
Yeah. So this is like a very. The thing is with AI and the things that everyone's working on and the people that you speak to, things are moving at exponential rates. That's the challenge. And if you're in the mindset of like looking at a spreadsheet and you're a linear thinker, it's hard to grasp or wrap your head around how are these things growing so fast? This doesn't make any sense. This is a bubble. This is circular financing. This is wrong. And you get in your way. And if you don't have an open mind to kind of see like, how does this stuff really work? Why is it growing so fast? Why is demand for compute exponential? What are these models doing? Where are these models being served? What are the costs? Like you have to kind of have a holistic view of all these things together to really understand how these things work. And if you don't, and you're kind of old school, and you're like, this is the price to what the value of its earnings or future cash flows is too high, and it doesn't work for me, then you're gonna like run into these issues. Like you you have to be able to think in exponentials, and that's like a skill in itself for a lot of investors that don't have.
Following on to that as well, like connected to it, where do you think we've seen like price estimates for Nebius shoot up after the earnings beat? Where do you think these type of things can end up? Like, can these be trillion-dollar companies in the future? What do you think that time span can look like for a company like a Nebius or a CoreWeave?
Yeah, the goal of the Neo Cloud from an NVIDIA perspective is we made these chips. They are expensive, but they are the best. But at the same time, I know you want to go try to make your own. You're trying to save some money. You want to make an Amazon Basics Trainium chip. Here, make it, but you're going to be left behind. And then if you don't do it, I'm going to find someone else who's going to buy my chips and make a true AI first cloud. And that was like the birth of Nebius or CoreWeave or IREN. So you see, there's all these companies chasing those customers that are looking for compute, where a lot of these larger, well-established clouds like Google or Microsoft, Azure, or Amazon were dragging their feet from a corporate perspective, saying, hey, these things are too expensive. Like, why should we lock ourselves into this roadmap? Let's build our own. Let's arbitrage on the cost. We have a deeper balance sheet. We can go to Wall Street and we're Amazon or Google and raise money at 4 or 5% for 100 years because we're Google. But if you're a Nebius or a CoreWeave, you can't do that. You haven't been in business that long. You don't have that crazy cash flow business. Sure. That's why you had to bring all these Wall Street banks from, Goldman Sachs all the way down to Brookfield. Be like, you know what? We'll finance the GPUs. We'll bring the investors. You go build the data centers. We got this. Giving access to that capital levels the playing field for these companies to bring more of these NVIDIA GPUs to the market.
Yeah. Just touching on that, I know we're 5 minutes, over. Is it all right if we ask another question?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, good. So we covered a switch up in plan from Mistral, a home model provider in European soil. I wanted to ask, that they were building their open weight model. That was the thing that they were focused on, but it seems like a shift in plan as of a few days ago into the infrastructure and the distribution layer. Creating these kind of like long-term contracts with the likes of ASML and then kind of raising the money off that. Instead of raising the money off their balance sheet, then raising the money off those, longer-term contracts. What do you think what do you think that shift is? I don't know how much kind of insight you have into the Mistral plan and what they should be doing and what they are doing now, but can you give us any insight into like, what do you think a model provider like a Mistral should be kind of focusing on and could be focusing on to kind of get an edge in this race? Because they've clearly, just looked at the model layer and thought, we're kind of way behind. Let's just sack this off and go for the infrastructure layer and find the wedge there.
Yeah, they've definitely lost the race in the model layer versus America, and obviously models out of China, which are just it comes down to talent and compute, and it's basically America and China right now.
Yeah.
And if you look to where the value accrues, at some point, you could say there'll be a stasis in the models, and you can use any open source model or whatever it is. Like, why would I get it? Why would I pay for a Frontier Mistral model, which is even that good? So what's the point? So right now, taking a look back, what's France or what's Europe good at? They're good at some high tech manufacturing, semiconductors, obviously ASML, and then France is actually really good at power. I mean, there's a lot of nuclear in France and in parts of Europe. Like, power and energy is compute. So if they can kind of go up the stack to energy and actual semiconductors or fabrication or that infrastructure, there's value there that they can hopefully capture. I mean, that's where they have to go to kind of make it work, because the model at this point is like you can get it anywhere that's better than what they've made, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, no, I think we were covering how smart the move was, and that we're bullish on the fact that it's a it's a very big plan and almost delusional. But like I think that's what a continent like Europe needs, is that delusion to get to that new frontier and in that new plan. Ben, it's always so useful to talk to you. Super interesting. Thanks again for joining us. Second week on the trot.
Welcome back.
We appreciate
Anytime.
it.
Anytime.
Cheers.
Good stuff. See you soon.
Ciao, Ben.
Legend.
Love to see him. The fortune teller. Ben the fortune teller.
He is the fortune teller.
the future.
You can also be a fortune teller on Polymarket, the world's largest prediction market. Stay informed and profit from your knowledge. Go to polymarket.com. Just go and profit from your knowledge. Ben's probably profiting because he is a fortune teller.
He did.
We have 6 minutes until our last guest comes on, the CMO at Klarna. But before we would do that, let's talk about Yacht of the Week.
Yacht of the Week.
This is a article from our new friends at the Gentleman's Journal. Yacht of the Week. We can pull this up. There are super yachts designed for the waters of Saint-Tropez, and then there are super yachts designed to disappear over the horizon entirely. Galileo G most certainly belongs to the latter camp. Built by a historic, there it is there, nice beautiful video of it. Built by a historic Italian shipyard, Picciotti, and launched in 2012. The 55.7 meter Explorer was conceived as a genuine long-range yacht, one capable of taking its owners far beyond the familiar cruising grounds of the Mediterranean and Caribbean. And more than a decade after her launch, there remains something refreshingly purposeful about her. The naval architecture came courtesy of Philippe Briand, with design by his Vitruvius studio. The brief was centered around quality, performance, exploration, resulting in a yacht that combines the elegance expected of a serious Italian super yacht with the engineering required to venture into some decidedly inhospitable parts of the world. Look at this thing. It looks absolutely beautiful.
Look at that beauty.
They are having a good time. Can we just pop to my screen quickly? We can see the interior here. We can see the exterior here. If you pop over in, I believe that's probably Antarctica. We can see. Look at that. That's a photo and a half. Look at that. I heard Alex has one of those back home.
And then if we
he is back from lunch, and then we see they've got a nice dinosaur bone. It looks like as a centerpiece, and then a massive. I think this must be a TV screen or a tri TV screen at the back here. Obviously showing some. I don't think you want to be seeing underwater if you're on a boat, particularly, because that means
that would be
you've
cool
sunk.
if it was just glass.
It would be
below deck.
Well, yeah, if it was below deck, but you can obviously see there's windows. This is giving me exploration. What did they say? They said quality, performance, and exploration. This is giving it to me. I'm liking it. I'm liking the globes. I think the two globes, kind of two, different designed globes there. This is looking good. You could definitely do some deals here.
They say about what's
here we go.
most...
Look, this is the three. The 3 TV screen with the dining table there. Nice little, I don't even know what that is, box. Put the Gentleman's Journal on your coffee table when you need it.
They say here the most impressive part is her range.
What's her range? Let's go to this one.
A cruising speed of 11 knots. She can cover some 9,000 nautical miles without refueling.
That's insane.
Top speed around 16 knots. That's the most impressive part.
Galileo G.
It's her range is the most impressive part.
Yacht of the week.
When you're looking at what yacht you want to buy, this was the yacht that we think we would buy. It's the Galileo G.
It's a beautiful yacht.
We have some details. Sorry,
please let's some specifications.
The Galileo G details. So it's 55.7 meters. The builder, as you said, is Picciotti maybe.
Naval architecture.
Naval architecture, Philippe Briand. I think that's right.
Yeah, I think so.
Design of Vitruvius Limited. How many guests can it get in? 12 guests. So all the homies and their friends can come and jump on this yacht with the gang. How many cabins? 6 cabins. So if you did have 12, would be bed sharing.
It's all right.
Only 6 cabins. So,
It's fine.
Yeah, they're just having a party, having a good time. Top speed, as we said, 16 knots. And then obviously
She's speedy.
the most impressive part of what she can do, the Galileo G, as we already covered, is her range. It's 9,000 nautical miles at 11 knots. So if you are in the market, you're looking for a yacht, we're not saying get this yacht. We're just saying that this was our yacht of the week. It is the Galileo G, and it can traverse the Arctic as well. I was surprised to see it in the Arctic. I must say it looks very chic.
It looks. That's a beautiful picture. I'd put that on my wall
Yeah.
just to look at it and
very
think,
fair.
wow.
Very fair to have that on your wall, I think.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
think
guess
I've
my
ever seen a
accommodation-
yacht, sorry, around ice.
Oh, I see. Okay, hold on. So guest accommodation, 12 people, 6 cabins, as you mentioned. Crew accommodation, 12 people, 6 cabins as well. So it actually holds 24
up.
people.
Oh.
So if you wanted to go crewless, you guys, you know.
Whoa, that's reckless. That's reckless to go.
It is, but it looks good. 24 people, you could have some lovely dinners on there. You know, you've obviously got some extra boats, some extra kind of toys to play around with. Yeah, if you're in the yacht market, which most of our listeners are, because they are post money, please go and have a look at the Galileo G, a beautiful yacht. I want to move on before we have our next guest on, unless they're in the waiting room. Onto the property of the week.
Property of the week. So we've done your yacht. You've got your yacht.
But you need a property to live in.
Now you need to get your property. What is the property of the week?
Let's pull property of the week.
Do we have something for you? Goes by the name of Sassalona.
No.
Property of the week. Sassalona.
Let's put a picture up of Sassalona.
We've got a photo of Sassalona standing there all on her own. Obviously, Caress is like a nice sort of water entrance at the front. So this is Barrow Projects' latest home, bringing contemporary luxury to one of Mallorca's most beautiful villages. This is from the GJ, from the Gentleman's Journal. There are certain corners of Mallorca where it is remarkably easy to understand why people arrive for a holiday and end up staying considerably longer. Valdemossa is one of them. Set high in the Serra de Tramuntana, the historic village has long been one of the island's great draws. Cobbled streets, honey-coloured stone, mountain air and spectacular countryside made it feel a world away from the busier resorts of the coast. And just a 5-minute walk from the centre of the village, you'll find property of the week, Sassalona. You can see it there, a beautiful double towered.
Indeed. Let's go through some of these photos if we can, Sam. Appreciate we might not be able to, but
producer's doing a million things right now.
Sorry, Sam.
Loading more on top of him.
Set on a 690 square meter plot, the property offers, here we go, nice. Property offers 324 square meters of living space with 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, traditional stonework roots, the house firmly in its surroundings, while clean architectural lines and large openings create a distinctly contemporary feel. Now, yeah, it's got kind of like 1970s vibes with the kind of embedded fireplace there. You can see that's the kind of round staircase, circular staircase going up there. You're right, a lot of light. You know, that's 3 double doors
Great
there,
place
looking good.
For some solar panels.
Yeah, if you
inside.
need it, you put them on the top. Beautiful kitchen area. You know, everything's tucked away. You got the nice breakfast bar there. Only 2 seats, which I'm surprised about. Very nice.
It's all right. Sometimes you need a private moment.
Indeed.
Inside the kitchen,
the natural materials, tactile finishes, and a warm, restrained palette continue the theme. This isn't a house designed around passing interiors trends. Instead, there is a sense that everything has been chosen to age gracefully. Now, that's not including the staircase there. You know, it's in the center of the room. It's grabbing attention. We love to see it.
Very beige themed. How do you feel about the beige theme?
I'm a fan of the beige. Look at the beams. Beams looking good. They could have made them. They could have kind of just not painted them and kept them kind of in like exterior vibe.
Exposed brick.
Do a bit of exposed beam always looks good. Keep with the kind of wooden finish, although it would have been different wood to the doors.
I'm a high ceilings kind of guy as well, and they look relatively high.
They do look relatively high.
Open door kind of guy as well. If I can have bedroom that opens up.
Well, this toilet and bathroom has no doors.
Don't know about that.
Is that your?
I'm not that type of guy.
That's your vibe? No doors.
No.
Didn't even look like there's a door to get in. You look here.
Yeah, I'm more of a door guy for that kind of setup, to be honest. Very European. Love the freedom that they're trying to push here. I guess it depends who's there. You know.
So wait, let's establish.
Are
you a door guy or not a door guy?
I'm a door guy.
You're a door guy.
Yeah,
okay.
I've got front door at home.
Change
love that
of
thing.
I did actually
knock it down.
Let's look outside. So we're now walking outside, looking at the pool. I'm loving the kind of straight from grass to pool vibe. Normally you're gonna have a lawn, and then you'd have tiles lining the pool, mostly to just to kind of separate both. But I'm liking the fact that you've got grass straight into water.
Well, I think if you need to touch grass, which many people sometimes do, this would obviously make it a lot easier.
Yeah.
If you're looking for that touch grass moment,
yeah,
you need to post it online. Just touch grass. This will decrease the time.
There's your tiles. That's what you're looking for. Nice, L-shaped sofa when you need it. Nice little time to read, a bit of space to read. Very, very nice patio overlooking, I'm sure, a very nice view, which it is. It looks good. Let's see how much it is. At 4.75 million euros,
that's a lot of money.
SAS Solana sits firmly at the serious end of the Mallorcan market. But property prices have continued to rise in this part of the island. In 10 years' time, this could look like a shrewd investment. So they're saying this could be...
Wait, they're saying what?
This could be like 10 mil in 10 years.
Are they long the SAS Solana?
They are long SAS Solana. Basically, buy it now if you want to steal. If you don't want to buy it now and you buy it in 10 years, that thing's going to rally, and you're gonna be a few mil at least out of pocket.
You're gonna need diamond hands though. In 10 years time, this could look like a shrewd investment. Yeah, there it is, right there.
I've inquired.
Would you? How much
4
money?
bedrooms, private terrace, 5 bathrooms, 324 square meters of built area in the Valle de Mosa.
How much money would you need to be paid? Like, how much liquid would you have to to spend that?
To spend that? Well, I assume you'd get a mortgage on it, but like most...
You have to buy it cash. Outright.
I mean, I wouldn't buy it cash full stop anyway, but
never?
If I desperately had to buy it cash, I'm probably looking, I want to buy a house, maybe if it's going to be... I was going to say 25% of my net worth, but I think I'd go 10% of the net worth. So maybe a 50 mil net worth.
If it was all cash.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think is there a rule for that?
I think there is a bit of a rule. They say if you're gonna invest in like individual stocks or like more risky investments, it's maybe around the 10-20% mark is like fairly risky. But then again, if you're young, and you have lots and lots of time in the market, I think it's, you're not put it all on Nebius. Exactly. I mean, if I could put it on Framer, I would. Framer, build better sites faster, the online platform where enterprise teams design, build and ship production-ready websites. No dev handoff, no bottlenecks, no creative compromises. Go to framer.com/ETN. They are legends. Or etnshow.co. You can see and get to the Framer website from our website because we built our website on Framer. That's how we did it.
Do it all with Framer.
I think we should go through the bangers of the day if we can.
Yeah, I think we are just waiting to sort out a few last-minute preparations for the guest.
That's fine. That's fine. Sam, can we go through bangers of the day? Are we possible to go through bangers of the day? We're getting bangers of the day up.
Bangers of the day.
While we go 2 seconds, Base, the infrastructure for the on-chain world. Base is built to empower builders, creators, and people everywhere to grow apps, build businesses, and create what they love and earn on-chain. Go to base.org.
Go ahead and do that.
Just go ahead and do that.
What a day. What a day of news. We've had everything from Anthropic's first lady, Mistral's plan to build 1 gigawatt compute by 2030, which honestly, I think that Ben's comments around,
We could put up the Airwallex agenda. Why not?
like what for the
Yeah, we'll just do a quick recap with the Airwallex agenda up.
so we have Carmen Lee, founder and CEO at Silicon Data.
Incredible conversation.
That was awesome. I would love to, and also she's
we could
hilarious.
do a double Carmen and Steve episode.
Yeah.
You
Double
know,
Silicon Data episode.
double Silicon
Breaking
Data,
down-
Silicon Data x ETN, breaking down what happens with
Let's do
you know
it. We
the
can reach out
futures
to them.
markets, what happens with everything going on in kind of capital markets in the compute side.
We can reach out. We can make that happen. I think
can.
Steve was in LA last time, so he got up really early. But I think he's usually in New York.
I think so.
He mentioned so it could be
so.
could be a lot easier to do
Yeah.
that. But I also loved how hilarious she was.
Oh yeah, great.
Absolute legend.
Yeah, legend.
Like, amazing and incredibly humble as well.
Legend of the game. Those Bloomberg alumni, they're nice people.
Yeah. Well, we have one here.
That's why I
He
said
was on lunch. When we were telling stories about the French going on long lunches, which is very, very funny.
He'll hear about that,
was
later.
not planned.
Then we have Neil. Then we had Neil Chudleigh, founder at Superwhisper. Very, very interesting conversation.
Would love for him to join us on their model launch
Yes,
next week.
they just sounded like it's going well. They're shipping. They're doing their thing. That's what I love about some of these bootstrap companies, that they kind of just like they do their own thing. They get in a niche and they just kind of build it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there isn't that kind of rush from investors to go and do this, that, and the other. I think historically, it was more of a thing to just go and start a company. You needed to go and raise money. Obviously, that's becoming less and less important considering
His specific comment
distribution
about that.
about the marketing.
All the VC budgets now.
It's marketing.
I think like
Well, it's distribution.
within
Less.
reason, I do think that like if you want a lot of cash up front to get your team of 8, but then once you've got that crack team, any money that you're raising in the future,
Yeah.
I think you can just splurge on
Yeah.
marketing cash.
Yeah.
Can't bring that down.
Ben Pouladian, founder at BEP Holdings, always an absolute G. He came in with the chat about Nebius, the chat about what the NVIDIA contract meant. I think it's always really insightful to learn from people like that. They are definitely just way above in terms of knowledge out of our wheelhouse. Bring them in, give us a bunch of source. I think it's always useful. We are learning directly from these people. If we can't have David on, let's do bangers of the day if we can.
No, I think it's coming on. It's coming on.
Yes.
We are getting through.
Let's go.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, we were stuck on the Alex agenda there. We are getting word from the team that we will have David coming into the studio shortly. In 2 seconds, we are hearing that he will be joining us.
Well, those 2 seconds to be used by 11 Labs.
On air.
AI
11
that communicates
Labs.
at a human
That's
level
everyone.
across every channel and modality, deploy conversational agents across every customer interaction and create on-brand content at scale. Get at 11labs.io. Legends of the game.
Legends. We love to hear it. Oh, yep. That is me. We have David in here. Oh, no, we don't. We have an 11 Labs thing. There we go. David, can you hear us and see us?
We can't hear you.
Phone, but
We can
this
hear
is
you. We
what
can hear you. We can hear you.
We can.
That's good.
Loud and clear. Amazing. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Pretty good. Always a bit stressful with the tech, but now we're up and running. I'm very excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
No. Thank you for spending time with us, sir. And do not worry about the tech. That is our fault. This is the lovely things about a live show. Everyone gets to see right through us all the time. But it means we're authentic, So that's a good thing.
AI can't replace us. Happy days. Try and replace us. No chance.
Not possible.
No chance.
David, so much to discuss. Maybe for the viewers and the listeners, like a brief intro on you and your role specifically. Everyone already knows what Klarna is. One of the pioneers of European technology. But let's hear it from you.
Okay, so I'm the CMO at Klarna, which basically means that I run all of the go-to-market on the consumer side. So we are a network, a platform, basically, where we have the merchant side, who's run by our CCO, David Sykes, and I run the consumer side. So all of the go-to-market, the branding, the consumer sales, many of the consumer products. So that is what I run on my end. It's been exciting. I've been here for 10 years. Every week feels different. So it's fantastic.
Let's go.
You love to hear it. I want to get straight into it if we can. We were covering a piece that we saw. I can't remember if it was in the FT or if it was in the WSJ, but the Apple leasing partnership. We thought it was a fascinating story. Would love to get like a temperature check on this, like how you guys approached it, what the plan is going forward, and what does this mean for Klarna? What does it mean for customers of Klarna, customers of Apple, the whole shebang?
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it is basically it's the best way to get your hands on the best products, right? So the iPhone, widely sought after, obviously. They have their big release in weeks or months. I'm not going to go into details of that. But it's one of the most sought after product in the world. And this is just a smarter and better way of getting your hands on it. It's basically an upgrade program, as we call it. It's a leasing program that runs on Klarna Rails, which enables not only Klarna customer, but Apple customers to get their hands on products they absolutely love at a financing that is fantastic, obviously.
What's the? It seemed like such a perfect match made in heaven deal. Why is now the time to kind of make this a thing and kind of really bring this to market? Because as I say, right, like it just seems so perfect to kind of fit the two companies together.
I mean, I personally believe it's a perfect match, both on the brand side, which I'm very passionate about. It's the marquee brand of the world, Apple, something I've been trying to build for the last 10 years. So I do think there is a nice match on the brand side.
Agree.
But also on the actual product and offering side, I do think the time is right now. Obviously, the iPhones already come at a good price point, but affordability is something that people think about, right? How to be smarter with your money, maybe how to spread the cost over time. And being able to upgrade your phone, your technology, things that you use on a daily basis without breaking the bank is something that we offer, right? And I do believe that like the partnership has been absolutely amazing so far. Two big tech companies coming together, creating something that is, I don't want to call it groundbreaking. That would be drinking too much of the Kool-Aid. But I do think it is a very, very nice consumer offering that we're rolling out. Yeah. And now in September, during their big launch of the new products, I think that people are going to be very appreciative of this offer.
Yeah, I also think narratively, like the push into like this partnership and now from a consumer point of view. It is great for you guys considering the kind of push into like this everyday finance network, moving into this kind of like banking status. Can you kind of tell us like the pieces of the puzzle that you guys are putting together to become that kind of financing network that you guys want to kind of like move into, as this kind of full stack product?
Yeah. I mean, so as everyone knows, we started out with Buy Now, Pay Later. It is still, in my opinion, one of the best offerings there is, the ability to spread your cost at no interest for a specific type of purchase, right? But what we quickly noticed is that people liked both our offering, our brand, the way in which we showed up, our proposition. So they wanted us to apply that more broadly, right? So people use us for debit purchases. They use us for financing purchases. They've started to save up with us, save money with us in order to make more money. We are releasing the investment platform in the US right now where people can buy stock more, on a smaller scale, but still, like we've really grown from being this Buy Now, Pay Later pure play company into something that people want to use on a daily basis. And I think the success we've seen with the Klarna card, for example, where people actually take the Klarna experience into the physical environment or abroad, the success of that is just a testament to the fact that people do want to use Klarna on a daily basis and not only for the Buy Now, Pay Later services. And that's meant that we're growing into what we call more of an everyday financial network.
Sure. Really interesting. And you mentioned like the US stuff there, like you guys have a US expansion plans, have done incredibly well in Europe. How do you guys perceive that market strategically? Any like comparisons drawing across from like European to the US market? I feel like you have to win the US market at some point. How are you guys approaching that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously more into the weeds. I don't see this as an expansion anymore. We have north of 40 million US customers. The US is our biggest market by far. It's still growing at a tremendous pace. But as you say, the US market is the one to win. And as we know, historically, at least, European companies have been struggling, or at least fighting an uphill battle in getting into the US market. I think we were both very correct strategically, surgically, from an executional perspective when entering the US market, but also a bit lucky on the timing. But nowadays, we don't see the US as an expansion market, but rather as our core and main market. And we're seeing, the growth there. One thing that has played in tremendously well into that story and narrative and growth is obviously the partnerships that we're talking about here. We went live, I have a bad memory, but we went live with Walmart, obviously one of the marquee brands in the US, I think early this year, late last year, something like that. We have Apple, Airbnb, eBay. We are integrated not only into the biggest US merchants, but almost into US society nowadays, right? So when I started out 10 years ago, I had the vision of becoming a household brand in the US. That was really like, if we can make it there, we can make it anywhere, as Frank said. And I think we're getting there.
That's so cool. That's really so cool. Sick. What's the, from a branding and marketing point of view, talk us about like how, when you first started looking at the US as a market, and then now kind of doing all these amazing partnerships, how has the brand evolved? Like, how do you have to think about the differences between, being a European brand compared to this US brand, and having that as like the key market? How has the brand changed and evolved over time? And how has the messaging changed? I imagine it's like hugely different to get customers over here than it is over in the US. Like their incentives are different.
Yeah, and the incentives that we're going to talk more about, it is obviously different, right? But when it comes to money, if we look at that for once, like money is quite local, right? We don't have a global currency. I think there are a couple of crypto bros that think we have, but we don't have a global currency, right? So money in the Nordics, money in Germany, and money in the US is very different. And the biggest obvious difference is the fact that the US is a very credit-heavy market. Yeah. Credit cards, the credit system has built a lot of that success. Whilst in Europe, we're quite debit heavy here, right? Credit, even in some markets, is something that is frowned upon. So we have to balance that. We obviously want to build a big global financial network, right? But we have to understand the local nuances. And one of the big local nuances is the way in which people see credit in the US versus Europe. So that has been a big part of it. But I do think, the most fundamental thing when it comes to what I'm working with is it's still a trust business, right? Yeah. Money is still a trust business. And the way in which trust is built is different in these markets. So we've had to be quite regional, right? So when we entered the US market, I could not come across as a Swedish or Nordic fintech brand with a funny name that no one could pronounce, right? I had to come across as an all-American brand. So if you look at what we did back then, we sponsored the Chicago Bulls, we sponsored Angel City FC, we went big on the Super Bowl, we did all of the all-American things, right? So I think one of the successes in the US has been to really embrace that market, behave American, and nowadays we are more or less a US brand, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's so interesting, because I think like more than ever, most of the conversations we have about the show now is like really around distribution and like how to launch in another country and how to do it in a way, but predominantly how to like win the US. And it's interesting, like your theology here in terms of like you almost have to turn it into a local brand, right? Like what do they associate locality with? What are the things they do every day and love? Like how can we sort of,
unless you're like a French fashion brand where the clout comes from being non-American, right? Then you truly have to show up as that, and you have to understand how it works for them on the merchant side, but also when it comes to the incentive structure, right? We entered the US without having points or cash back or whatever you have it. And that was unheard of for an American. So we've also tweaked our offering throughout the years, and we're now in a very, very good spot, both with our core offering, but also with the Klarna card. But especially for the US market, like you cannot bundle that with any other market. You have to attack it very specifically.
Yeah. You guys have clearly like smashed it, and kudos to all the work you and your team are doing. I wanted to ask about the going back to like the first kind of days of or like thinking about this kind of US expansion. How much of the like culture did you guys have to, like the grassroots culture of US culture, how much did you have to kind of like soak in? What did that look like? What were those kind of strategic, deliberate decisions that you were, you mentioned about sponsoring those, the teams, but before that, what was the, how did you guys position and make sure that you were culturally right before even all of the putting the card down on sponsorships and everything else?
No, exactly. So we obviously have two growth levers. We do it through the merchants. So I'm not going to go into that. That's fairly straightforward, right? We teamed up with as many big marquee merchants as possible. On the consumer side, as a European, you quickly realize that the US is a massive market and you can't go after everything, right? Like that is why some brands succeed by just going after a zip code in LA, right?
Sure.
And so we pinpointed, one of our growth strategies and tactics was to pinpoint subcultures that we felt fitted and needed our proposition, right?
Okay.
So back then, I don't know if you remember, but one of the most watched TV shows was RuPaul's Drag Race, right? So people, that was one of the, I don't even want to call it community because it had some sort of, it got global attention, but the community is fairly tightly knit. So we teamed up with RuPaul's Drag Race and did a campaign called Shop Like a Queen and did it with a community. And I'm saying that because I truly believe in targeting specific communities
that's
where you
awesome.
feel that you have a brand fit, which we actually did, fairly, extravagant, a lot of colors, a lot of energy in that community. We teamed up with them. We offered our services. We created a lot of content with them. And instead of thinking about going after the US, which is an insane first hill to climb, go after a zip code or a community or something smaller. And I think we did that really, really well. And we expanded that into gamers, the hardware you need is fairly expensive. They have good word of mouth. We can create quite a lot of value for them. So we were a very community-led DTC brand back then.
Super, because that's really, I don't know how big RuPaul's Drag Race is, but it's pretty niche.
For my older sister used to watch that.
But it's pretty niche. It is it's obviously, must be big, but that's still a very niche community.
Yeah. I think it was very entertaining.
Build the wedge. Yeah. Super interesting.
Connected to the brand stuff specifically now, how do you feel branding a company, especially I guess the size of Klarna, has changed from way back when all the way up until now? Like we were saying earlier, that a lot of the money that startups are raising now, once you get past 8 really good engineers, anything else you raise from a VC, you kind of just shove into marketing. And we're seeing that.
I like this. I like where this is going.
Which it would probably get a CMO
more
pretty,
marketing
pretty
dollars is good.
Yeah. Like the reins are off. There's no constraints. But we're seeing startups do cinematic style, incredible launch videos. There was one we saw the other day that is in the same style of a key scene of Obsession, the recent hit horror film, which was insane. It was amazingly done. But I feel like it's changed since maybe 10 years ago. How is it done now? Obviously, the scale will be different from a company the size of Klarna and something.
Yeah, no, I think our strategy hasn't changed, but it's adopted with who we are and the position we have in the market. Right in the beginning, especially when entering the US, the biggest challenge I had was that I had a fantastic product, but it was boring and no one listened to it, right? Mm-hmm. And I do think that is the challenge that a lot of startups that you're meeting are facing as well. I meet so many startup CEOs that tell me if people only knew how good but people don't care and you don't have the distribution of information, right? So back then we had a very attention-seeking strategy, right? If I could just get people to listen to my proposition for 5 seconds, 30 seconds, 2 minutes, whatever you have it, that was the thing, right? So we teamed up with Snoop Dogg, with A$AP Rocky, with Paris Hilton, because, Snoop Dogg talking about payments had a different clout than me talking about payments. So we had to seek the attention, right? Also back then, fintech wasn't what it is today. I think we've been part of shaping that. Now that fintech is something else, we have 120 million consumers worldwide. We have the attention of the market due to us being public, due to us being so successful as we are. We've moved away from the attention-seeking things and moving more to value communication, trust communication, really making sure that people have the confidence to continue using Klarna. We're less of this rebellious teenager that just needs the attention. And we've grown into a more I don't want to call it responsible because that is the wrong word, but I do think having 120 million consumers who trust us with their money comes with a responsibility that we live up to every single day. And I want that to be reflected in the marketing in a different way than when I had to scream from the top of my lungs when entering the US.
Love it, man.
Really cool.
Huge.
Really cool. I know we are basically at time. We're probably a little bit over already, but David, that's the really interesting conversation. We'd love to have you back on any other time. It's been really fun.
I'd love to. Thank you so much for having me. And I really love the show. I'm a personal fan of your show.
That means a lot, David. Man. That means a lot. Thank you so much, sir.
See you soon.
Well done. Back. Nice one.
Thank you.
Thanks.
What a legend.
What a legend.
Masterclass on branding, ladies and gentlemen, from CMO of Klarna, known for their amazing stunts.
It's
bangers of the day.
2 minutes until the weekend, but you can't leave the week without bangers of the day.
Gotta do the bangers of the day, guys.
Let's talk about Iron Man, please. Please, Sam, I would love for you to pull up my screen if possible. Smit, this is a banger. The Iron Man movies did a weirdly good job describing Jarvis as a language model, which then only reached AGI when it became Vision. It also portrayed Tony working with Jarvis in a way that closely resembles agentic coding. Interesting, which leads me to the question: was the Iron Man suit vibe coded?
It's
interesting.
To raise. Really
550,000 views. It's a good point. I think it must have been.
That's run, to be fair.
He would have been talking to Jarvis.
The first one,
saying like, "Hey, let's do this and let's do this. Oh, I kind of want this to be a little bit like,
Yeah. I think the first one he built in a cave, actually. So.
Yeah. Oh, true.
Vibe
building.
Constructed maybe first. If that was the first initiation of it. Which is interesting, but that is from Smit, bringing us some huge philosophical discussions today on the timeline for a Friday afternoon.
Indeed.
Up next, we have this is from Julia Jumello. She's that's actually really good. This meeting could have been a fist fight, probably. And then KFC have got involved, about to show them why it's International Left-Handers Day. And then obviously Julia. Thank you, KFC. Very cool. That is quite cool from KFC.
Honestly, Julia, for the reply to KFC,
that's pretty strong.
You're very high on the list. Higher than they've gone before. Also, just completely out of like context. Like this meeting could have been a fist fight, probably.
A lot of think about the person at the FTSE 100.
Think about the person that just came out of a meeting with Julia as well. You're now thinking, oh damn, I've ruffled some feathers
in the face. Give me a big bruise of the face.
This is another one, another bit of corporate slop going on from Natalie, I'm just going to say. She says, please touch base with me, bro. Please, bro. I need to circle back right now, bro.
That's gotta get it. I'm sorry.
Natalie, that's great. That's great. That's corporate slop. That's corporate slop right there. You know, please, I literally just want to circle back. That's all I want to do. I just want to circle back, bro.
I love the from T, small T. If you gotta ask bro to circle back, then he's put a pin in it forever, bro. That's some good slop. That's good. I heard one the other day that
never gonna meet KPIs with bro for the quarter.
There was one the other day that I heard.
This needs to turn into a trend, by the way.
Well, I can't remember we found a bunch of them. A friend of mine. There's like a repository of all of these like listed out, and one of them was like we've heard of a few of them, but one of them, first one was like, let's not boil the ocean with this, and I was like, that is the most, I'd never heard that before. It was very corporate slot. And then the other one was like, let me run that up the flagpole.
Oh, no.
Let me check if let me go check with the seniors if this is cool, or maybe I've not.
Honestly, if I'm ever in a conversation with someone that says that, it's like, I want to throw fists.
You want to? This could have been a fist fight. This could have been a fist fight.
Like Julia. Anyway, do you want to pull the next one up?
This is from the Fundamentalist at Fundamentalist. It's
this is my book.
It's Nebius. It's the big long. And then obviously some.
So why is this Ken Griffin and not Michael Burry? That was my should have kept Michael Burry's clown face.
Burry's clown face, says ML.
But it's good because when I put this into I think I put this into the chat, into our ETN Banger of the Day chat, I didn't realize it said the big long. I thought it said the big short. And I just thought it was funny anyway. I think the photo at the top, which normally is, who's that actor that does like Evan Almighty, like that one? No, that's
That's the guy just thingy, Batman. I forgot his name now.
Yeah, whatever his name is. Anyway, but now it says the Big Long, which is just even better. I think it's great.
His name. Yeah, Ken Griffin on there. Obviously bought the whole of Leopold's holdings. Leopold was...
But didn't short Nebius, so it kind of doesn't really make sense. Anyway, I really like that one.
He's long.
He is. Oh no, yeah. To be fair, he is long.
Yeah, he's long. Ken is long.
Oh yeah, no,
Nebius,
actually, it does make sense. Yeah. Sorry, my bad. I was like getting confused with the Ken Griffin thing because it used to be Ken Griffin and now it's not. Anyway, sorry, Michael Barry. Now it's not Michael Barry. This is from Irakli at the Spacer. Do not forget how to code. AI won't build illegal apps, but you will.
You will build illegal
Imagine
apps.
No one knows how to code. We don't even know how to code anyway. But
I think AI...
in 15, 20, whatever years, 50 years, everyone will be vibe coding. They'll be talking at whatever, something. There'll be something in their collar or whatever it is, something in their watch that they just talk to and it builds it. But what about the people that can just code? They'll be able to code it, they'll be unstoppable. I think it's going to be a swing of the pendulum. This has opened up a can of worms.
I think AI will build illegal apps.
But it won't, because it will be, I guess if everything's open source, then yeah, maybe, because there'll be less like...
I mean, it's
it
already...
won't be like a model owner.
Doing felonies already.
No, it's true, but like that's because we're not there. We're not there yet. Like
I can see it happening.
The performance is is like better than like where we are as cybersecurity and humans. The performance is better already. But no, I think it's a good take. Spacer.
I think certainly possible.
Congrats. Next one.
Charlie Ledger, get ready, liver. Daddy got yelled at during the team meeting today.
It's very corporate coded. This banger.
Knock that one in there. First time I've seen that one.
It's me this morning.
That's my banger of the day, personally. That's a brilliant one.
We got producer laughing. We got Alex. We got Alex saying banger. Surely.
Yeah. My personal one would be that for sure.
Okay, that's yours. That's good. That's good.
What's next on the
next one? This has a bit of a preface with levels saying, okay, fully nutritional complete. Now, if you add eggs, so this is AI. Levels. I think AI'd fully nutritional meal. This is Alexander's.
Oh, boom. Let's
go. Absolutely mogs him with a Beaver Town.
Beaver Town, yeah.
He's in London. You can tell by the pavement. This is my nutritionally complete meal. Full stop. Alexander. Just purely for the fact that I back you and you've mogged levels, I'm happy. That's my banger of the day, purely out of principle. Anyway, move on.
There we go. Those are the bangers.
Is that it?
Yeah. We have
good to go.
Another thing, but it's a bit long.
So who's the winning one then? Which one are you guys going to agree to give it to?
I think it's... I love the Big Long. The Big Long was just funny and genius. I do think the Get Ready lever was good.
Mine will be Get Ready lever. 100%.
Okay, look, because I had yesterday's.
Okay, that's fair.
Charlie Ledger, Get Ready liver. Daddy got yelled at during the team meeting today. 1.2 million views. Congrats to Charlie Ledger. You have smashed it. LXE comes in with a great comment as well. Corporate America has claimed another lever.
Yep.
Very corporate coded.
And also, this is just for reference. This is his own trend. He hasn't jumped on anything.
No.
He's cold started 1.2 million views, so I think you get extra points for that. Because there's jumping on no narrative here. This is just fresh off the dome for Charlie Ledger. Just threw it out there on August 13th.
What a legend.
Woke up to 1.2 million views.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in this week. We appreciate it. We will see you on Monday at 12 p.m. BST. Ciao.